The suits sit high while the streets sink low, counting gold in the towers, letting fires grow. I hear whispers in alleys, truths they don't show. It's all smoke, no mirrors, just a puppet show.
They sign the papers inked with lies while we're left with broken skies. They take the bread and leave us the crust in this machine. Who can we trust? Shadows in the Capitol, the power's all a game. They point their fingers, but we know who's to blame. Whispers in the corridors, screaming through the shade. Shadows in the Capitol, nothing feels the same.
Mail! The ballots feel like broken dice. They play their games, we pay the price. Promises painted in black and white, but they vanish like thieves in the dead of night.
Lies written with invisible ink, pouring poison in the water we drink. They build their walls, we feel the squeeze. Freedom's just a word on a broken marquee. Shadows in the Capitol, the power's all a game. They point their fingers, but we know who's to blame. Whispers in the corridors, screaming through the shade. Shadows in the Capitol, nothing feels the same. Where do we go when the truth's been sold? When the streets run cold and the lies get old.
Where do we go when the truth's been sold?
When the streets run cold and the lies get old.
Where do we go when the truth's been sold?
When the streets run cold and the lies get old.
Shadows in the Capitol, the power's all a game. They point their fingers, but we know who's to blame. Whispers in the corridors, screaming through the shade. Shadows in the Capitol, nothing feels the same.
Look, I'm streaming and it's not video games. That's crazy. Maybe it's because I have time today and there is just a stupid amount of news to catch up on. I have about like 20, maybe even 30 articles up right now. We'll see how many we get through. I don't know if I'll get through all of them. But there's an insane amount of news, especially with all the protests or riots, depending on how you want to characterize that. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about. And joining me to talk about all of that and more is going to be Mad Stork. How's it going, Mad Stork? Oh, wait, I had you muted for the intro. Try it again.
Are we on YouTube or not?
We are on YouTube. But I don't care that much, so...
Has it been more than a minute since we started the show?
Oh, definitely, because I had that song playing.
It would be nice if you stopped muting me like you were trying to put your cock in my mouth. And
Whoa! All right. I don't know if that's what was happening here, but well then.
I'm just saying this gay shit has gone too far.
To me, it just sounds like you have experience with this, Stark.
Your mom did try to put a strap on once, but it got a little wild too fast.
Does that even count as a cock? That just sounds like a strap on. I think that's a little different.
I'm just saying, okay?
Sean or Joey's gonna pop in here and they're gonna be like, "What the? I'm not fucking joining this."
Anyhow, it's cold here. It's cold as shit. The low for this week is -1, and I hear California is in the 40s already.
Let's see what it is today, because depending on the wind and stuff like that, I think the lowest I've seen it was I mean, at nighttime it can get down into the 30s, but during the day I think the coldest I saw it was 43.
You guys might actually freeze.
Yeah, it's not often that we do. In my lifetime, I've lived in the same area like my entire life. I've had snow like multiple times. Don't get me wrong. But like actually have it stick to the ground for more than 5 minutes. I've only ever had that happen twice in my life.
We've got a few people we know, mutual friends and acquaintances that live in Florida, and they're like, it's getting kind of chilly. It's all the way down to 70.
Really?
Yeah. Some of it. Yeah. I can tell you right. Yeah. My sister actually just sent me videos of her apartment complex. They are in giant plastic containers, okay, with kids sitting in those, and they're attaching like ropes, okay, and somebody up front is pulling it, and they're basically sledding across the entire parking lot. That's how frozen it is back in Texas at the moment.
Do you think we're gonna get scenes like we saw in Russia? Are we gonna get scenes like that in the United States with this snowstorm coming through?
I mean, Cannibal Island, I think, is a little of a stretch, but I mean,
Cannibal Island? That's not what I was talking about.
you know about Cannibal Island, right?
No, is that a Russian thing?
Yeah, they marched a whole bunch of political dissidents off to an island, and they had been sending supplies over there for like months, thinking that there's going to be a prison camp set up and everything like that, or at least something, right? At least something was set up over there. But no, the people out there in Siberia basically took all the supplies and were like, "Thanks, we can finally eat." And then they shipped a bunch of prisoners over there to Cannibal Island, and there was nothing. I mean, nothing. Like a quarter of the guards died. Like almost all of the prisoners died. I think the major ones to survive were the women who decided to prostitute themselves to the guards. But even some of those women were killed and eaten.
Wow.
There's a reason that this is called Cannibal Island.
Who was
So
doing
I
the
don't.
cannibalizing? The guards?
Yes, all of them. Like literally, the reason it's called Cannibal Island is because it's literally an island of cannibals, and it's in the middle of winter. They have no fucking firewood. They're just out there freezing. From what I understand, they were basically out in the open, like open air winter camping for a while. But this went on for a couple of months to a year or something. I don't think it lasted more than a year and a,
I was
year
gonna
and a
say
half.
this isn't still going on.
No, 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 no,
They
no.
ran
Not that
out
I
of
know
people
of.
to
But
eat.
did you see the video of the apartment buildings like snowed under, like to the
Dude, I
10th or
saw the
20th
one. It
floor?
was the mount. There had been so much snow that it created a mountain on top of one of the apartment structures that was twice the height of the apartment structure.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
I was
insane.
like, I've always wondered. Today was the first day that I've ever understood it. But the question is how do you like walk on snow that's so thick you could like fall into it and hurt yourself? But I went outside today to try to. I was like, you know what? I'll shovel part of the driveway off, kind of thing, right? Like I'll kind of go there, and I walked outside, and all of a sudden my foot like sunk in, like but stopped like an inch or two into the thing, and it just wouldn't shrink anymore. And I was thinking, it rained or something last night. Like it sleeted. Like
Hmm.
there's a layer of ice, like that's a quarter of an inch to a half an inch thick on
Yeah.
top of the snow, and it just won't let me through, kind of thing. I almost had to like forcefully stomp to get down any lower than that in the ice. But anyhow, I don't know what you're talking about in Russia. Do you mean like that kind of thing? Because that's not happening.
No, that's not gonna happen here. That's what I was talking about. Is like, are we gonna see mountains of snow twice the height of park, or twice the height of apartments?
You know what I would like to see though? I would like to see all of the people from California and New York get a taste of extreme weather in some of these remote places they've moved to.
Well, New York gets
Just
more
a
extreme
taste.
weather than California does.
Oh yeah, yeah, but like New York keeps the streets clean, like clear,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? But like a lot of them move to like South Carolina, North Carolina kind of area, whatnot. Like Riley, I think, was one of the top places for people from New York to flee to. And so what I'd like for them to experience is like one of those cities where it's like they'll clear the main road with the hospital on it, right? And they'll clear maybe one of the roads out to the freeway, but that's all they clear. So I want some of these New Yorkers to just be like, what the fuck? Like
I
these are
I
how
don't
people
want that
live.
because I can already foresee how many accidents and like bad things will happen. Because like just in California, just in the area where I live somewhat near LA, dude. It rains here, and you just stay home. It's not safe. People do not know how to drive. The moment it starts
Oh,
sprinkling, all reasoning goes out the window. No, you
those
forget how
those
to drive.
those fuckers who moved to from California to Texas, whenever it hails, they go under a bridge and just stop.
And they just wait.
and they just wait. I've seen accidents where they're just literally stopped there and somebody's going full speed, slides like 20 yards, 20, 30 yards into the back one of these cars and just pushes them out the other side. And again, it's because these Californians are like, oh my God, hail, what am I going to do?
Well,
And
Jessica,
they just
we got
freaking
Jessica
out.
Clarity in the chat. She said, but CA has wildfires. Yeah, but that's not extreme weather. That's from extremely bad forest upkeep.
That's from that one guy who smoked a cigarette and put it out, kind of haphazardly.
Yeah,
We'll put
the
it that
whole
way.
state is flammable, and then it's a multifaceted issue, and it has nothing. It really doesn't have anything to do with weather. The fires that start here don't have to do with like thunderstorms and stuff more often than not. It has to do with homeless people or people intentionally trying to start them, or like Stork said here, it's someone flicking a cigarette out their window because they don't give a shit. I can't tell you how many times I've seen just with like friends, family, and family friends, like hanging out with them. Like when I went fishing with some people, and we're standing on the edge near the dock, and people are smoking and they're flicking their lit cigarettes into the bushes, and I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots. Like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, because it's fine 99% of the time, and then that 1% it catches something. Can't just put it out and throw it away. No, that's too much work.
I don't know how to tell you this, but some of them just don't care.
I've noticed. I have definitely noticed that some of them just don't care.
But yeah, sorry, I was pulling up the chat or whatever on the side because I was like, I don't see anything. I feel awkward.
Yeah.
What's up, Jessica?
Yeah, we're doing a new time. So this is gonna be the new time slot for the live show because this is the only day that I can guarantee every week. Just the nature of what I'm doing for work now. The schedule is very erratic, and I can't.
Can you talk about what you're doing now?
I rather not.
Okay.
It's just a basic job. Nothing crazy. But
yeah, no, I'm sorry that you had to turn to gay porn just to make a living.
I know it's very unfortunate. My only fans, my only cocks. No.
We all make sacrifices, man.
Yeah, so I have an actual job now, and I've had one for a little over a month. So that's why, there hasn't been a lot of news coverage coming out for me, and I do apologize for that. But I don't have the time. I haven't been keeping up with news as much either because I've been working. So I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm trying to still do the show. That's why we're gonna cut it down to just one day a week. I'll do a longer show. Like today, it'll probably be 2 hours or more. You obviously, Stork, don't have to stay the whole time if you can't. That goes for all of my guests. I've already notified them of that. And
I did the math. I did the math on the other day on how many stories I cover a week. Do you have a faint idea?
No. Why don't you tell me while I add our 2 other guests?
I cover at least 65 to 70 stories a week with a minimum of 40 to 70 memes.
You count the memes? You count the memes as coverage?
No. I count the memes because that's just literally the amount of content that I go through. And I've done the math, and I go through somewhere between 4 to 8 memes every morning. And then I additionally go through whatever the fuck I go through at the end. And so and that's the minimum, dude. I cover a minimum of 65 to 70 stories a week.
I can't do that with my current schedule. I have too much going on. I would love to be able to do that. What about we are also joined by Sean's Eye View and Joey Cannoli, who have to unmute themselves because I can't do that.
Well, I certainly would never want to cover that many news stories because I hate talking about the news because it's all bullshit.
You know what is also bullshit? The fact that I just had to turn off your auto gain again.
Joey, are you familiar with what a medic is?
No.
It's a person who heals in a video game.
No.
Oh yeah, that's that one class in Battlefield that has the defibrillators.
No. A medic is METIC.
Oh, with a T, not a D. Okay.
Yeah. Is a person who's led into a country and is allowed to live there and gets everything that a person can get that a citizen wouldn't be guaranteed. And I thought about this, or I found it like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but I've been so busy with so much other shit. And then basically everybody's talking about Democrats and how they're looking at like a slave class kind of thing. I think they're literally wishing they had medics again.
Yeah,
Just kind of an
obviously.
interesting concept. So anyhow, like I said, I'm still thinking and talking about shit that's not in the news, but sometimes you just run out of time because you're talking about so much news, you know?
Well, why don't we talk about the story that everyone is covering over the weekend, and that's the shooting of a protester or a rioter or however you want to describe it. We even got a YouTube chat from Audrey, who looks like she is on the side of the man who was shot. Says seeing conservatives blame the man who was murdered while pretending that he was brandishing a gun. And claim he deserved it because he didn't have an ID is just about as horrifying as the video itself. So why don't we actually talk about that? Let's move over to my fancy dancy little screen over here.
Is this the Jewish guy that was shot?
I think it was the Jewish guy that was shot. Let me pull this up.
Can I give my uninformed opinion as someone who hasn't seen any of this because I've been avoiding everything?
Yeah. So here, do you even know what happened, Joey? Or?
Yeah, I know what happened, and I see what everyone is saying on both sides,
Bofa, yeah,
Bodum, and well, some people are like, oh well, it was a lot of noise. Someone yelled he had a gun and then shot and blah blah blah, and then someone's like, well, having a gun is not a crime. You can't be conservative and claim it's a crime. And then I'm just like, I don't know, but I see a lot of creators on the right sphere that are saying that this is bad, like Robert Barnes, Luke Gronkowski, and then others people are like, oh, he deserved what he got or whatever, and I don't know. So let's lay it out so I can give my totally not biased opinion, because I really am not biased anymore, I would feel.
Yeah, so I'll just give a quick rundown and then we'll play the video. But essentially, this dude, he got shot by ICE. He had a weapon. He did have a weapon on him, but he did not aim it at officers. I don't even think he had it on. I don't even think he had it in his hands when they took him down. As Sean pointed out on Twitter, that one of the officers actually retrieved his firearm prior to him being shot, but didn't communicate it with his coworkers. So we do have this video. I don't really care if YouTube dings me for it. I think we should play the video because I don't think it shows anything graphic. It does show a man being shot, but it doesn't show like blood or anything. So
that's the important part.
That's the important part. You can show a man being shot. You just can't show blood. The blood is the scary part.
Disturbing video going viral on social media captured the moment shots rang out in downtown Minneapolis on January 24th after federal police struggled to subdue a man who, according to DHS, quote, violently resisted officers while armed with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
Violently resisted.
Oh, what the They killed him? Did they kill that guy? Are you kidding me, dude?
The 39-second clip, which was posted on Reddit and X, showed about half a dozen cops struggling with someone on the sidewalk
5 different angles of this video now.
26th Street and Nicollet Avenue when the gunfire erupted. The officers appeared to scatter after the barrage of shots went off. A law enforcement source shared a photo of a firearm with the Post, saying the shooting happened after the man brandished a firearm with 2 magazines. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara told CNN that the man was shot and killed by federal agents during the tense moment. In a statement on X, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz...
Okay, so we'll move on from that. We have other video angles too. We have the post-millennial. Let's see if they have a better angle. But yeah, so obviously everyone's talking about this, and they're you know, depending if you're a Republican or you're a liberal, you'll say that it's justified or not. And I'm kind of in between here. I'm not like I don't. I'm not gonna say that this guy's completely in the wrong, but I'm not gonna say that the Border Patrol is completely in the right. So it's kind of like the whole story is kind of like a gray area.
Yeah, I feel like I have a pretty nuanced stance on this. And if you haven't seen the little like slowed down, zoomed in clip that that post that you referred to of mine, if you scroll to one of my comments on it, well, my only reply to it, you can see the angle that is really necessary to get a grip on what's actually happening. But some of the videos show a few seconds earlier. They accuse the guy of like fighting with ICE, you could build the argument that he's fighting to stand back up by pushing against the ground and trying not to be shoved into the snow. But anything beyond that, it doesn't really make sense. It's not shown in the video evidence. ICE shoved a woman twice. I don't really know why they shoved her. It seemed kind of like they were just trying to get her. Yeah, you see the slide right there? The slide goes back. That gun went off. So
it doesn't look like his hand is high enough. Like it looks like he's grabbing it from the bottom of the handle, so I don't think his finger would have hit the trigger.
Exactly. So it was an accidental discharge, but from the perspective of the officer who actually did the shooting, he doesn't know that. This guy never yells out, "I got the gun! I got the gun!" So the guy that did the shooting was not aware that Alex was disarmed. And he did hear a gunshot after being told this guy we're detaining has a gun. So it's reasonable to think that he believed that his fellow officers were being shot at. So his shooting, I think, is clean. Everything leading up to the shooting is maybe not. But the shooting itself, based on what you can reasonably expect that guy to know and be aware of at the time, it looks clean. But that slide goes back.
Yep.
So that gun went off. I think that was the first shot that the shooting
and then it spooked the other officers that didn't know he didn't have it on him.
Exactly.
Well, I'll say what I always say when it comes to cases like this with police, getting involved. Don't resist. Whether the cops are in the wrong or they're in the right, you do not resist the cops. Let them be wrong if they're going to be wrong, because it could lead to situations like this, where you try to fight back because you believe they're in the wrong, and then they get scared and they shoot you. So it's always best when law enforcement are involved. If they tell you to get on the fucking floor, you get on the fucking floor and you just do it. Because if you fight them, they have authority to kill you. Like that's just the unfortunate reality of things. And I would say a lot of the time the cops are justified because their life could be a threat if you're fighting them.
Yeah, that's the gray area that you were mentioning. Because, like, if you watch the longer videos, the ICE dude shoves a woman onto the ground and she slips on the snow and lands on the curb. Alex walks over and is clearly just trying to help her stand up, but it's slippery, so it doesn't work very well. And then the officer who shoved her on the ground walks over with his bear spray canister, like crowd control style canister, and sprays him both sides of the face. Alex can't even see what's happening at that moment. So the spraying is arguably not justified. The shoving of the woman onto the ground is not justified. That's him right there in the brown.
The one that just walked past?
He's actually trying to let these vehicles know that it's safe to come through. So there's arguments that, he was directing traffic. I mean, kind of. But it's not like he was trying to stop anybody. He was just saying, hey, you can get through here, guy. And then that woman, you just saw her get shoved to the ground, or you're about to. And then he walks over to her and tries to help her up while he's being shoved. But they're accusing him of assaulting her as well, and that's just not in the video.
Wait, yeah, I'm confused. What the fuck just happened? ICE just came over and started shoving people?
She was in the street, and she got shoved twice. If you watch before it turns away, you see her get shoved right now.
Pushing her.
And then you see him walk back up to her and shove her again right there. She slips. She's fallen on the snow. And this is what I'm saying when it's not clear that he was like fighting back. They were shoving his face in the snow and he was trying to breathe as best I can tell.
Yeah, we could here. Let's do it. Let's do a breakdown from here. So they're in the street. So they're in the street. The ICE comes over. They start shoving them out of the street. There's an argument to be made that law enforcement's allowed to do that. They're allowed to remove people from the street if they're loitering in the street. They could have gone about it maybe in a nicer way, but we don't know if they had asked them nicely before or if they just went over and just started with the shoving. Let's assume they asked them to get out of the street first and then they resorted to shoving. So then it escalates. Now there's a group of people here. ICE is shoving them, spraying them. Let's see where it goes from here. And we don't need the audio because it's just a bunch of people screaming and cars honking. So here they are. They're in a scuffle. Whoever this guy is whoever is that the woman with the orange backpack, she's clearly resisting.
She's trying to stand up, and the woman that's grabbing her is trying to help her stand up.
Oh, is that not an ICE officer?
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't look like it. No, I think you're right. It doesn't look like it.
Because she's grabbing her by the hand and trying to grab the elbow, but her feet keep slipping in the snow.
Yeah, here, let's go back. So shoved. He steps in. He's getting sprayed.
And then he and that other person, I can't tell, they both try to help her up.
Yeah, he's trying to help her up while he's getting sprayed. Now they're bringing him to the ground.
They drag him off of her. And like he's being shoved into like the slippery, icy ground, which explains why 7 dudes can't pin one guy.
Yeah. And then you can see, you can see when the guy grabs
And now
it.
he's already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
He
another angle from the other side of the street where it shows the ICE agent walk over, he's right there, the one on the one with the black hoodie on that's second from the left, like just to the right of the guy in the black sweater with the vest on. Go left more.
Left more? This?
Yeah,
one right from him.
One right from him.
That guy there is going to reach in and grab the pistol and walk away with it, and that's the guy who we see the slide go off. But he's holding it from the handle. He doesn't have his finger on the trigger. I sort of think that the only real faults here are the P320 is 6 Hour, right? 6 Hour made a faulty weapon. It should not have gone off when nobody pulled the trigger. And because of that, somebody died right here. And then the second fault is there was no real justification for pepper spraying him in the first place. He was just helping a woman up from the ground.
Yeah, I don't see the justification for the pepper spraying. Shoving them out of the street, that makes sense. But like I don't get the pepper spraying.
Can I back up from there on that?
Yeah.
I first off, the first fuck up in all of this is that they haven't declared martial law and went and shut down Minnesota.
I was waiting for that start to go first because that's what I wanted to say. That's exactly what I wanted to say. The biggest fuck up is Donald Trump's just sitting on his fucking hands.
They should have shut down this town. They should have shut down several towns basically and said, fuck no, we're not dealing with this. We're not dealing with you crazy people. If you go out into the street, we're just going to shove you over and arrest you. And then this guy, knowing that everything is contentious, I mean, I've got two sides on this. One, if you've got like somebody like coming out and being crazy and rioters are starting, right? Do you really want to be the guy out there without a gun? But at the same time, do you want to be the guy with a gun when there's a bunch of officers out in the fucking street?
I hear you.
What I would say to that, Stork, is again, yes, you should always have your firearm on you, but if you get into a situation where cops want you on the ground or want you detained, you should just comply completely.
Why would somebody with, and we'll get into the 6 hour thing in a minute, but why would anybody with a gun try to put himself between officers and a person?
I hear you. I just don't think that once they decided to start pepper spraying him, he was already dead. There was nothing he could have done about it.
Yeah. He shouldn't have been in the middle of all that, though.
He kind of wasn't, though. All he did is go to help the girl stand up.
Yeah, so
that part is the only good thing that I think that's where ICE fucked up. I think they shouldn't have gone after him when he's just trying to help a woman up.
Agreed. I think they should have said, I got the gun, he's disarmed, or some variation of that.
There was a lot of lack of communication.
If those two things would have happened, just let him help her up and announce that you've taken the gun. Both of those were off-roads, you know what I mean? Where he would have survived. But because of that, him carrying the gun, Second Amendment all the way, he should be able to walk down the street with a damn bazooka and nobody can say anything.
Well, hold on. Why would you walk out on ice with a 6 hour with a loaded round?
Don't get me wrong. His choice of weapon was stupid.
His choice of weapon, carrying one, sitting there waiting to go off.
You can see right here, like they're out of the road. They're out of the road at this point, and the ICE officer still shoves her onto the sidewalk, and then that's when the guy that gets shot steps in between and puts his hand on the officer.
Yeah, that was another. He shouldn't have put his hand behind him, like put his hand on the officer, but the officer
shouldn't have shoved her to the ground like that.
Hold on. If you see the guy, Do you see the guy on the far right, though, just to the
Yeah.
right of the screen? He's watching him shove him.
Yeah.
That's why he goes to the ground, and everything else happens from there.
No,
As soon
it
as
was
he
just
touched that officer,
it happens
fucking over.
incredibly fast. I mean, the original officer comes over, he's shoving them, he shoves her, he steps in, puts his hands on the officer, the other officers see him put his hands on him, and immediately everything escalates. He's getting sprayed. He's trying to help her up, kind of.
He's
He probably
sprayed
can't
right
even see
there.
at this point.
Left side of the face, right side of the face.
They're
and then
pulling
they
him
grab
while he's trying to help her up.
He also should have let her go instead of trying to drag her with him. Like, there's a lot of mistakes or whatever here.
Yeah.
But as far as like the main bullet points go, we don't know why she was shoved. Like you said, we didn't hear what she said. We didn't hear what they said to her before. But why was she shoved?
Well,
separate question.
And this happens so quickly. This happens so quickly, Sean, that I don't even know if the officer announcing that he grabbed the gun would have been enough to stop it. Because, like, he could have said, I got the gun, and then it goes off and they shoot him.
Agreed.
Rewind to watch where I was just talking about that guy on the right side of the screen. Watch that guy as he approaches everything. So he's literally walking up, already has the pepper spray right there. He's already engaging the guy as they're going to put him down because he put his hands on the officer.
Yep.
You can even build the argument that the one in the black sweater right there was trying to de-escalate his fellow officer.
Yeah, because he watched you could see it. He watched the whole thing go down, and then his whole focus is on the guy that they now have on the ground. He was trying to grab him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the gun goes off. It scares the officers. They open fire, and he's gone.
And none of them knew that it was the Sig Sauer that went off by mistake in the hands of the ICE agent. That's why I say the shoot is clean. Based on what you can expect them to be aware of in that moment, it's lawfully justified. But almost everything leading up to that moment is crazy. And I lean even further into what Stork said. We should have cracked down on the immigration and the gang warfare shit years and years and years ago. This never even should have been a possibility.
Yeah, but even recently, Donald Trump should have just called them the national. He should have just shut the shit down. Now see what happens when he doesn't shut the shit down. Now is you go from, oh, the media's like, oh, he's fascist. He shut things down. Nobody's allowed to do anything. Oh, but now you got the visuals. Now you got the visuals that they're going to use. They're going to use these visuals.
They're going to try to make this into George Floyd 2.0.
Exactly. So what Donald Trump doesn't understand is by him, he doesn't want to do martial law. He doesn't want to seem fascists. But what's going to happen now is it's just going to be even worse optics. It's just going to make like people are going to be like ICE agents are out to get people.
Well, they're already trying to make an autonomous zone in the area where this guy was shot.
They've already
that's
made
already
a few.
existing, I thought.
So
Yeah.
Well, there's
now
I read that there's 2
Two-Face
or
out
3
the
of them.
bottle, so they got their moments. They got their
Yeah.
moments. So
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Joey. I think the biggest mistake of the administration thus far with these immigration and ICE protests and riots is that he's not going hard enough, and then because he's not going hard enough, we get scenes like this, and then it just fuels the outrage and gets more people to go out, and then the more people you have out, the harder it is to respond.
they get more
It's
courageous now.
Yeah, they get more courageous. They feel like they're fighting some sort of evil because the people on the left are going to see this clip and they're already saying it. They're saying the state executed one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Just straight up, they should have just shut this shit down. Nobody would be even allowed to do anything. Just put the thumb on them. Nobody will fucking.
Like Stork said, martial law. Martial law should be enacted.
It's what had to be done. None of these people, the left never has to feel any consequences, so they're used to this. And when they do finally feel a consequence, boy, do they use it as the shining light of a fucking martyr. So you just got to put the thumb on them, demoralize them, realize that there are consequences, and then like this stuff probably won't happen as much because they're gonna be when you go out there to riot, you're gonna be like, well, they're just gonna immediately arrest us. They got it, but he's not doing it. He just won't do it. Mistake after mistake.
Well, I think it's worse than that. I think if they're not going to deal with that right now, because I keep saying this, I've said this everywhere on everybody's thing, man. I'm going to say it again. Can you imagine what this shit is going to be like in 2 months?
Especially if shit like this keeps happening.
When it gets warmer, yeah.
He needs to
2 months, dude. I'm thinking about what it's going to look like in 10 months when the Democrats win back all the fucking House and Senate.
Yeah, I get that, but the fact that you don't crack down on it right now means that they're just more emboldened to go out there in 2 months.
Absolutely.
He's just setting the table for his own demise, and then when that happens, he's gonna be like, "Look, they're coming at me to get to you." It's like, get the fuck over yourself, buddy.
Like, you had your chance, dude.
Get out of here with that propaganda. That shit.
Well, that's what it all leans into, is the propaganda element. Like, is he just allowing this to happen because both sides of the aisle want martial law?
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I think martial law, if done properly, could have corrected and like fixed Minnesota. It could fix like Southern California, because Northern California is not like this. It's just not. But Southern California, a lot of it is. But I've been talking about, the Mockingbird media has been pushing this, and the left right now is creating the justification for martial law and pretending that it's already there.
Yeah. Can you pull that video back up one more time, man? And I want to show this is the part where he shoves the guy. Just repeat that shit for a second, because if martial law happens, here's the difference between that being good and bad, is literally when he shoves that guy trying to help up a woman. If we can get martial law and we can not have assholes needlessly push people trying to help up women, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Like, I get it. The adrenaline's pumping. There's a lot of people that are screaming and yelling at you all day. There's this fucking idiot in the street, and you're like, just get the fuck out of the street. But like, you as a law enforcement officer need to be able to like stop, take a moment, and be like, maybe I shouldn't fucking shove this person.
Yeah, right.
Literally that right there, though, when he shoved him, that is the moment that everything is going to break down with the whole idea of martial law.
Everything falls apart right there. We'll play that in just a second. I want to read Bach's comment. Bach said the P320 I commanded discharge is...
He corrected.
What?
He corrected it. Uncommanded.
Oh, uncommanded discharge. So the uncommanded discharge is likely due to the gapping between the slide and the slide rail. Jostling the slide while the trigger is not fully depressed causes the firing pin to release. That is an insane fucking design flaw.
Yeah. And we were talking about this almost a year ago, wasn't it, when it first hit the news?
I know a lot of people were making memes about it because they're like, why the fuck would you have that?
I thought was when that was.
Something like that, yeah. 7-8 months, something like that.
6-7 months ago.
Let's see. I don't want to speak this into existence, but now the left could use this as like a motivation for the gun manufacturers, holding them accountable for something that happens.
Something like this, I would actually be in favor of that, though, Joey. If you're,
that's why it's perfect. But that's why it's perfect, Tyler. That's why it's perfect, is because it's a legitimately decent reason as to why, if we had a well-meaning government, you might want to do this, but we don't have a well-meaning government.
Do we have anything where they could like call again for those things to be returned in a calling?
Oh, like a recall.
To fix a defective product.
Some sort of a
manufacturer recall.
Fixing. Yeah. Right.
I don't know. I'm sure we could work out some system for people to go like be responsible for that shit. But,
yeah, but why do that when we could watch this lady get shoved by ice?
I still get recall letters for like a vehicle that I don't even have anymore. Like it's a thing. I can't believe that it's been almost a year and the P320 hasn't been recalled to gunsmiths and fixed on Sig Sauer's dime. Even just for the sake of fixing Sig Sauer's reputation, you would think that they would want to do that.
Yeah, because Sig was a really popular brand until like 6-7 months ago. So
I almost bought this gun.
No. It legitimately was. But I mean, the funny thing about recalls and stuff like that is I've taken my car in to get like handled at the shop like a couple of like probably 3 or 4 times last year. And I had a particular problem with my car. And I was asking them, hey, like, is there any recall on this particular part on this call? Because somebody told me I should check and see if there's a recall. And it turns out there was, just not for my model. But when the guy was looking it up, turns out there were 3 other recalls that hadn't been serviced on my car yet. And I was like, you guys could have fucking told me that shit.
Nah, you can come back another day.
I mean, they had to come back another day to fix it. Go ahead.
Rich Flowers
Back
says
one.
something interesting about the gun. He says, "I think those were widely issued to be one of the military branches, maybe Air Force or something. They canceled the government contract after that flaw came to light a while back.
Damn.
Yeah.
But that means there's a fuck ton of them out there."
Just
Yes,
before
sir.
that, Box says there's a voluntary upgrade to supposedly fix the issue. So
That should not be
and-
voluntary.
Well,
Yeah.
if you give them the authority to come take it, then there might not be
Yeah.
an actual problem, and they might do the California thing where the recall is to put that stupid ass fucking fin on the backside of your
Oh,
pistol
okay. I
grip.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
But that does change my opinion a little bit on this. The weight is a little bit less on Sig Sauer and a little bit more on Alex if there was a free voluntary
Box
fix
says-
and he didn't take it.
Box says you're supposed to send in the pistol to SIG and they fix the issue, supposedly. Police departments bought a ton of them too.
So you're saying they called for the thing to be brought back? We have a
So-
system for that.
So no,
So
no,
we
We
SIG,
didn't
SIG
know
didn't.
about it, but it did happen.
Yeah, SIG didn't put a recall out, but they did say, "Hey, if you don't want your gun to misfire randomly, send it back to us."
That's
How
crazy.
kind of
It's
them.
like saving face.
Hey, if you don't want faulty equipment. So I guess if someone doesn't decide to, like, how would that work legally? Like, if we live in this Democrat dystopia of,
Yeah, if someone
holding
decides
the
not to go get their
manufacturer-
misfiring
if they
gun.
decide not to, do they get held accountable now, assuming that they're not dead?
They should.
I honestly,
okay.
yeah, I would say
I might agree on that one.
I
yeah.
would say the fault falls on the manufacturer, but in this case, SIG has announced that they're aware of the issue and that they will fix it. Then at that point I would say yes, it falls on the owner of the firearm at that point. If the manufacturer decided to just ignore the issue and said they're not going to fix it, then it would fall on them.
Well, so here's the interesting question, right? Let's say this scenario arises where it's like, listen, you are free to do that, but if something goes wrong, you're being held accountable. Now, what happens if this person, this hypothetical person that we're talking about, does lawfully use his weapon, and the state's trying to go after him, and they're going to go, he didn't get this upgrade. Maybe, it
Wait.
was faulty. You know what I mean? Like they'll use it as something to go after someone who finds themselves actually
Even though everything they did
operating
was
the equipment
lawful.
that is supposedly faulty. Yeah, even though it was because that's what they'll do. Look, can we get them? Can we get them anywhere? Because that's like what New York City does when it comes to self-defense.
So
They'll
I-
look at everything. Can
Hey,
we get
what-
them anywhere?
What?
Can we get them anywhere? That's what they do.
Yeah. What were you say, Sean?
Yeah, look for something to stick. What day exactly did this happen? Because I just tried to look up that recall because I want to add it to that thread that I'm building. And it looks like,
This was either yesterday or Friday.
what day was this?
I think it was Friday.
I think
It-
it was Friday because
it
I
looks
saw a
like-
bunch of memes about this yesterday.
Yeah, I was. I'm
I'm gonna drop a
scrolling
link in the in this chat here. It looks like 4 days ago, Sig Sauer was hit with an $11 million verdict tied to the 320 discharges.
Oh wow. Well, so I have this article pulled up from the Post Millennial, and I don't like how they're characterizing this. It says Border Patrol head Greg Bavino said that the deceased anti-ICE agitator Alex Preddy was armed. So this is from the Border Patrol head Greg Bavino. Alex Preddy was armed as if to want to inflict, quote, maximum damage and massacre law enforcement before he was shot by Border Patrol agents on Saturday.
Yeah, fuck all that.
Yeah, that's
What?
quite the fucking stretch, bro. You know, if the Biden administration,
Yeah, that's the
if
propaganda.
they came out and said that shit, bro, we'd be shitting on them. But now you got half the motherfuckers on the right that are cheerleading something like that. Well, you fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out.
But see, it's bullshit
fucking-
like this from Republican side that makes people that are like in my YouTube chat, Audrey, saying that conservatives are blaming the man that he deserved it, all this other stuff. I'm not gonna say that this guy deserved it, but I will say that it was completely avoidable.
It was completely avoidable, but within the moment of the
On both
situation, like
sides.
Sean says, it's hard to really put any specific person at fault for the shooting aspect because of the things that happened around it. But the situation shouldn't even have ever happened.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and like we did a bit of a video breakdown, and I don't think there was anything saving that man once he got put to the ground.
No.
Right.
Like
Once he
even as
touched
we
that
pointed out.
officer,
Even as we pointed out with that other officer taking his firearm, even him announcing, I got the firearm, that he would have barely had enough time to say that before he even went off, and then they would have opened fire.
Right. It was like he stood up and turned around, and as he's taking his first step or two away from the mob, it went off. So we're talking what a second and a half, 2 seconds maybe. There's no way that it would have registered. He should have said it anyway, but once that's all going down, Alex would have died anyway.
So Bach says in the chat, bottom line, he was armed and planned to obstruct federal law enforcement, 100% at fault. What I'll say to that, Bach, is that we have the Second Amendment in this country, and if I want to go protest while armed, I'm allowed to.
Yeah,
and we don't know that he was
didn't
trying
mind when
to...
the Bundy Ranch was fucking armed and dangerous, fucking occupying their compound because they weren't going to let the government take their shit. The right-wing people really loved being able to protest with their guns all shown, not even just like holstered, fucking drawn. So now in this situation, people aren't allowed to. I get it. They're most of the people protesting are doing it because they're paid agitators or because they're
paid
retarded.
agitators. They genuinely they genuinely hate ICE or the Trump administration. They do want harm brought upon them, but that doesn't mean they have the intent to cause that harm.
It's not Minority Report. We can't just predict crimes because a lot of people over there on that side of the street don't like us. So the first instance anything looks fishy, we're just gonna fucking mow them down. Like,
well, because think about this, guys. Like Bach and Rage Flowers, you guys seem to agree in the chat. Think about this, right? Think about it in the reverse. What did they do to Republicans that had firearms on January 6th? They're like, they were planning. They brought firearms, so they were planning to go and shoot senators and stuff like that. No, that's not what was happening.
Inflict maximum damage.
They were going to inflict maximum damage on the on the Senate.
That is
you don't inflict maximum damage with a pistol. Come on, just be real.
Whether you think that there was a legal justification behind him getting shot or not, or whatever, like that framing of it is
maximum damage and to massacre law enforcement. They're saying that his intent was to cause maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. He never brandished a firearm at law enforcement.
How could they know that intent? How can they know that intent?
We don't even know that he was trying, right? We don't even know that he was trying to obstruct anything. We don't know that he was trying to hurt anybody. As far as we know, his hands were on the ground and he was trying to keep his face off of the road, which, yes, definitionally is resisting arrest, but technically the arrest the arrest itself is where I mean, it seems like all of us are questioning a little bit. That arrest was not really all that justified. Once he puts his hand on the officer, it seemed like he was trying to say, hey, I got this, let me help her up. And then it escalated from there when dude grabbed his wrist and was like fighting back or whatever. But
the only question I can arise from this is there footage from like earlier in the day, like constant footage of this guy just like pushing ICE agents to the fucking brink and then like fucking dipping it like that? That's the only way you can even like justify remotely what the ICE of how it's being framed.
Well, and this is how it was framed to me when this
straight hours just poking and prodding and shit.
Joey, this paragraph right here. This paragraph right here is how it was. This is how I learned about the story. So this is what I thought happened. I thought a man in Minnesota approached ICE agents with a gun drawn and tried to fire upon them. That's how I thought this played out. By the way it was being described. I mean, look at this paragraph here. Quote, during this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives of the safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enformment. That's not crazy. At all what fucking happened, though.
Yeah.
He didn't approach law enforcement.
I would agree, Bach, with your framing of obstruction if you obstruct. But what was he obstructing? I mean, he was helping a woman up.
He was obstructing an officer shoving a woman to the ground.
We can't let zealous cops, zealous law enforcement, military units of any kind go so far as to scare men away from just helping random women that are on the ground and having trouble standing up.
But
we can't do that.
Probably a protesting woman too, but just still, he was helping a woman up. That's it.
Yeah.
Can we scroll back up to that real quick, Tyler? I just
this paragraph here.
Yeah, this semi-automatic handgun. Why does that seem to be a narrative that is being repeated ad nauseum?
I think it's just they're trying to be verbose. If you can say more words without actually straying from the point, people get confused.
My theory on that
it's
actually.
almost like we're trying to scare people away from semi-automatic.
No. Oh, so yeah. So that's
might
my
be
theory
right.
on it. Stork
They're just
is
doing yellow
we've had
journalism like the left
jokes.
does.
We've had jokes in the media for years at this point that it was a fully automatic weapon. You know, like making jokes about the
the assault
semi-automatic and
rifle.
automatic aspects of a firearm because the media
The
doesn't
assault
actually know
rifle.
guns. Assault weapons and stuff
assault
like that, right?
weapon, yeah.
So I think what this
Right.
is, because now we see so many outlets saying it, I think this is them finally doing some self-correcting because they realize that automatic
Maybe.
weapons are already banned. So now they're like, no, it's semi-automatic weapons. Semi-automatic weapons are the bad ones now.
You could frame
whatever
that
that
as
means.
self-correcting, and you could frame that as advancing their agenda to
Narrative.
remove all
Yeah.
weapons. Either way, I would
That's another way to look
probably
at it, yeah.
accept.
What is
Bro, but
semi-automatic?
in
Like, are you supposed
California,
to, like,
nunchucks
one
are
shot
considered an
and-
assault weapon. If I take a broom handle and saw it in half and put some fucking chain between it with a screw, that's considered an assault weapon now. So I don't like any of that.
What were you saying, Joey?
I don't remember.
Full semi-auto?
Well, yeah.
Oh
no.
yeah. What's not a full semi-auto? A musket? Like what the fuck?
Well, no, musket is
I
not
will-
semi-automatic.
I know,
A
but I'm saying
revolver?
like, but that's what I'm saying is if they're like get rid of semi-autos or whatever, it's like okay, so just have muskets basically.
No, you could have
Shotgun.
revolvers.
I know. but
Revolver is
what I'm saying
technically a
is it's like
Is
what
it?
I'm saying is then it's going to be what you can't have
Yeah.
more than one shot in your gun. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. They're just
Yes,
gonna keep
that's what they're
fucking-
moving towards.
That is eventually the goal before taking them all away, yeah.
Bro,
There's
they're
They
about
might, be
to,
okay, they might be okay with you having a one-shot shotgun or something.
yeah, they're
Bach,
about to
assault
label
weapon
your
is
Nerf
not a
gun
fake
as an
term. It
assault
was
weapon.
a term made up by video games that was adopted by the media.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a disagreement there. When you say it was made up by video games, I think calling it fake is kind of fair. You know,
I
there
guess,
might not
yeah.
be too much, but an
It was
assault
just a
weapon,
categorization in video games, basically. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
these
it's
are
and
your-
it's supposed to refer to fully automatic, like
right.
war rifles.
Yes,
You know,
Bach,
pull the
fully
trigger
semi-automatic
once
is a
and it
joke.
just keeps
I'm making
shooting
fun
until
of
you let
the
go.
media outlets that do that. Because there have been media outlets that report fully semi-automatic weapons.
Yeah,
If,
fucking
if
retards.
Bach, if you scroll up to our sergeant's comment right there, that's where we were getting
Yeah,
that
full
from, the
semi-auto.
fully semi-auto.
Semi-auto.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's what our sergeant said over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we
media
we
has
get
no
it.
clue.
We get
There's a
it.
delay.
The-
He'll find out we're joking. It's okay.
Everybody on
the
Facebook finds out in 10 years.
But yeah,
the assault
so
team, the assault team Hex that was going in there with a full semi-auto was definitely sporting chubbies as they were getting the job done.
so for this story though, right? Like, I don't think the guy that got shot is 100% in the wrong or 100% in the right, and I don't think Border Patrol. I don't think anyone's in the right or wrong here. I think it's just a fucked up situation that should have been avoided.
You know,
Yeah, and we don't actually know how. Like, I didn't hear anything about that. You know, call it a recall, call it one step below that, whatever you will. I didn't know anything about that Sig Sauer fix, and it sounds like none of you did either. So,
No, the rate
is it
files did.
reasonable to put the weight on Alex if we don't actually like if there was no meaningful and like successful effort to advertise that all he has to do is mail the gun in and it'll be fixed and mailed back? I don't know. That's a gray area for me.
It is. It's tough. Well, we definitely can't hold the manufacturer accountable. So then I guess it's just neutral. It's just something that happened. But, I don't know. Is it
Depending on
possible
how
to, like,
effective their effort was, I agree with that. Yeah.
is now this is something we can never prove, but like, is it possible to like easily just kind of booby trap the gun in this instance? Then
What do you mean by that?
to have it intentionally go off or something?
Well,
Like-
they would have to know him ahead of time and be planning on it with him,
no,
kind
I'm
of
saying
thing.
for him though. For him, could that be like something that he was planning? Like somebody's going to grab my gun and it might just go off, and he was probably thinking it might end up shooting them instead of you know what I mean?
Maybe, but then how would he have it not go off when he was
don't
like
know.
slipping on the snow and trying to help the woman up? You know what I mean? Like,
I
it
mean, yeah,
seems like
there's a
freak
lot
accident
of
to me.
there's a lot of what if in that. Like, is it possible? Yes, but is it likely? I'd say no.
Definitely not beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't say that. That's for sure. So it's just speculation. But
What does
Yeah.
Elon Musk
Trying to get
say?
into
The
people's
most
psyches.
likely outcome is the most interesting or the the most amusing. So
I think that one of my main new takeaways from this, because I hadn't read I saw that quote, but I didn't realize it was from
a longer quote.
Well, I didn't realize it was from this organization. Is it fair for me to call that Jew on Jew violence because the one Jew is saying that the other Jew is trying to massacre people when they clearly weren't?
Ooh. Maybe one
That
of them
sounds like a blood libel to me.
I think you just saying that is a
Well,
hate crime.
the meme
How dare
meme
you
that
say
I
that Jews going to conspire against other Jews?
Yeah, I'm not
the
allowed to
meme that
call
I
it a blood
kept
libel.
saying the meme that I kept seeing was they called this person happy and of a merchant class, and that's the one everybody kept comparing this to. So
I haven't seen that, but that sounds funny.
because he's not too far off of the meme. So
If he just put his hands in the right position, you know.
we need a more profile picture, guys. Anyhow,
Yeah.
This whole thing is unfortunate, you know. Like we're all trying to throw a little bit of, you know, light air on it so it's not quite as miserable. But the bottom line is both sides are trying to paint it as if there was zero fault on their side and that everything is the other team is fully to blame, and that's just not true. That's you got to
a
be
man
able to
lost his
understand
life,
the
and people are
nuance.
playing politics over it. Is what's happening.
Yeah.
It's your side did all the bad, my side did all the good, and that's why a guy is dead because you're bad.
But
Right.
you know what? Back to the initial point Stork made was this would never happen if we called in martial law or something, because now not only do you have federal forces that are this is not their forte of like, you know, playing riot police for these guys. They're just supposed to be immigration people. So you don't have the proper federal agency in there handling a certain situation.
That's true.
Yeah, why is the federal government not sending in the military or whoever they got to send in to assist ICE with the immigration enforcement?
Yep.
And why are we not arresting the governor and the news apparatchiks and
literally
the other
any-
politicians that are pushing for this to happen? They're straight up calling for resistance. And
It just,
that's what leads to
any
this.
government apparatus, any government official, anyone who remotely works for the government doing anything to impede or ignore orders to follow the law needs to be arrested. Like this shouldn't even be like something that needs to be said. It should be as simple as, we're going to send in ICE. They're going to go enforce the law. If you impede them enforcing the law, you're breaking the law and get arrested too.
That's where I'm at. You got to apply it at the top first when you're dealing with
Gotta go
law.
top down.
Yeah.
I just like, if this was Joe Biden, I always go back to this. If this is Barack Obama, you know, Barack Obama, the one that the new right claims is the mastermind of it all. If this was Barack Obama, would they not say he's doing this on purpose? Like, how can I just think, like, why isn't he doing it? Why won't he do it? It makes no sense. And then Pam Bondi going on Fox News talking about she sent a strongly worded letter to Tim Walz. Like, this is all bark and no fucking bite. Every day, like all the shit, like the Stephen Miller types that said at Charlie Kirk's funeral, like it's all fucking bark. It's no bite. They don't do anything.
Charlie Kirk got shot in the fucking neck, and we haven't seen arrest from anyone on the other side.
There's nothing. People were celebrating it, in fact, and they've done nothing. And it's like, oh, well, we don't want to be fascist, but they'll, you know, then Donald Trump will just do tariffs when it's not really his position as president to do, but that's okay. But like when it comes to doing something like this, they want to get all, well, the Constitution. It's like, okay, just keep picking and choosing which parts of it you care about.
Yeah,
Speaking of Obama, he I haven't read it yet, but Barack dropped a letter about this today at some point. I just sent it to you on
Is that what you
Discord
sent me?
if you
Well,
wanna check
okay,
it out.
that'll be the last thing we cover, and then we'll move on because I do have a lot of other stories. There was actually another incident in Minnesota. I don't know if you guys know about the other incident with the other ICE officer.
I don't think I do.
Yeah, so we'll talk about. I don't want to give too much of it away, but there was another incident that happened that we'll be talking about. So this is from Barack Obama. The killing of Alex Preddy is a heartbreaking tragedy. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. Well, that sounds like he's definitely going to unite the country. Let's read this. The killing of Alex Preddy is a heartbreaking tragedy. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. Federal law enforcement and immigration agents have a tough job, but Americans expect them to carry out their duties in a lawful, accountable way and to work with rather than against state and local officials to ensure public safety. See, I agree with Obama here. If only the local and state officials would actually work with ICE. That's the disconnect here.
Yeah.
No, but he's
It's
talking
funny
about
how
their
framing
values.
changes
Their
everything.
values are being attacked. Yes, their values of
Open
letting
borders
people who
and
aren't
yeah.
citizens of this country live on taxpayer dime. Like that's what they sell to their people as fucking charity. Like that of
Mhm.
course their fucking core values are being
I mean,
attacked. They're fucking Marxist.
James O'Keefe
These
put out
are their
stuff
core
recently.
values.
James O'Keefe put out stuff recently showing high-ranking officials in the Democrat Party saying that they are purposefully letting people in because they know they vote
Mhm.
Democrat.
That's
But
true.
here we go though. The Democrats, it's the same thing every time with both these damn parties. The Democrats are appealing using terms of like our freedoms are being, or our beliefs are being, violated, and then big government comes out of it, and then the right kind of does the same thing, and then big government comes out of it. So I'm just like, damn, man, I well, what's the point? What is the point of voting for both of these? Like, how long are we going to let ourselves get okey doked by these fucking Republicans? I'm just, I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them.
Yeah. It's the
Absolutely
Hegelian
sick of them.
dialectic in action again.
Yeah.
Let's continue here. For weeks now, people across the country have been rightly outraged by the spectacle of massed ICE recruits and other federal agents acting with impunity and engaging in tactics that seem designed to intimidate, harass, provoke, and endanger the residents of a major American city. These unprecedented tactics, which even the former top lawyer of the Department of Homeland Security in the first Trump administration has characterized as embarrassing. See, I find it interesting the way they phrase things here, because they even bring up, oh, from Trump's first administration, there's a lawyer that completely disagrees with everything going on, and it's like, I don't fucking care.
Right. And they skip everything that happened under Biden. How, what is it, like the small estimate is like 20 million people,
The high is
brought
like
over.
30 or 40.
Something like that.
Like
yeah.
the insane numbers were let in under Biden, so we have to do insane measures in order to get them out. And what's funny,
Exactly.
what's funny here, and Sean, Stork, and Joey, I know all three of you will agree with me here. I just love how like much their panties get in a just in a bundle, right? Because of what's going on with the immigration and customs enforcement. But this isn't even a fraction of what we fucking wanted to see. So just imagine if we were actually getting the mass deportations we wanted, how they would react.
They'd be talking about the
Well-
trains and like, oh, they rounded them
Yep.
all up on trains and shipped them out of the country again. And I mean,
think trains would be a lot more effective and
Agreed.
efficient.
agreed.
But
I
you know-
just think
you know
that
what's
it
funny?
would be a hearkening back to World War II propaganda, and we would have a whole new round of that
You
for the
know,
next 100 years.
just an appreciation of of this plan though. I mean, it is a very interesting plan that the Marxists have done with the illegal immigration and how they sprinkle them in random places and shit. Because what they're hoping for is that people see their neighbors getting hauled in the vans, and then they see what they're saying on the fucking media, and that's gonna be enough intimidation, essentially, or pulling at the heartstrings to sway their vote.
Well, then you
And
get
it's
stories
a-
like this where it's like, guys, they're kidnapping your neighbors and sending them to countries that they have no affiliation with anymore.
Mhm.
And so then you have that aspect of it. And then now you couple it with this, guys, when you go and protest your neighbors being kidnapped, they'll execute you, is now going to be the
Right.
next narrative.
These
And
people are
there-
going to be thinking they're doing the most. Like these people, like they're putting people in that revolutionary mindset.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely they are. And what's scariest about that,
but-
Joey, is that we're not far away from the Republicans losing the power that they're not using.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's
then
the
we're gonna-
worst part about all this, because if you allow this to go far enough, the right will have zero choice but to go full crackdown mode. And then once you're in full crackdown mode, then the authority shifts to the other side, and they're doing the fucking the hand
Crackdown on
wringing
you.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. You're familiar, everybody listening to my voice right now, we're all familiar with the term keeping up with the Joneses, right?
I'm
It almost seems like what they're doing to propagandize us is like a reverse of the keeping up with the Joneses, where they're saying like, look, you are the Joneses and nobody else in the world can keep up with you. Therefore, we should give them some so that they can
Yeah.
keep up with us. and then they use your guilt about how good your life is after fucking 250 years of building to convince you to just step back and let yourself be invaded. And invader right now is one of the trigger terms that gets you nerfed on Twitter, as of we found that out 2 or 3 days ago.
And what's funny about that too, though, is that they're setting up that invader thing, the deep state, the globalists, whatever you call them. They're setting up the invader thing, and then they're making the domestic population feel guilty about accepting these invaders. So again, problem solution. Oh, look at the Republicans! Look what they've done. It's like, yeah, you triggered it, but now it seems like it just. What was the first? When was the first proverbial shot fired of the reactionary things from both sides? Like every time, like the next one gets in power, it's like they trigger something that rages up the other side down the line, and then they trigger something that does that, and like it's hard for me to not think that like the top brass on both sides of the parties are just, this is part of the plan, is like they had that handshake agreement to continue to give rage to each of these belief systems populations, and they're perfectly fine with it because it allows them to pass more big government things to give them more power to consolidate their power, consolidate the wealth for their fucking corporate cocksucking donors. And like that's what it is. And Donald Trump, he told everyone they should vote for Thune for the fucking Senate. He told everyone to vote for Mike Johnson. Like he kept going to bat for these deep state candidates because he wanted things to be sped along so it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the administration, which is why he won't fire Pam Bondi. Like this is what he's like. He's playing right into their fucking game, and I keep getting told he's this crusader. He's this crusader outside the system, but everything that it shows me is that he's just playing into their system.
Yep.
I think every president has pet projects that they want to go forward, and anything outside of those pet projects, they will use basically to get those pet projects furthered. And I think Trump wants the deportations, but I don't think he wants the bad press. I don't think he wants to deal with the agricultural and the economic outcomes of deporting so many people. So I think, you keep hearing like about the agriculture manufacturers, stuff like that. Like who's gonna pick the cotton? I mean, artichokes,
16-year-olds.
Yeah, whatever. But 16-year-olds from which country, Joey? And so yeah, and so I think that's the issue here is he doesn't want any of the fallout. He just wants to deal with what he perceives as problems. But I also think part of it is that he's intentionally going after these countries in Democrat states. I'm not going to bring up which state, but there is a state that I am more partial to them deporting more people from, and they haven't. And I think Tim's right that they want to try to do these map redistrictings and other things based on population. And I don't think they have any intention of ever going in there and doing that. I think that's honestly why. I think his pet project isn't mass deportations. I think his pet project is fucking over Democrats.
I mean, that's what it looks more like. I just wish he would. I just feel like there's so many more ways that he could go about that. I mean, here, let's read the rest of this from Obama, because he brings up more points here. So he goes on to say, which even the former top lawyer of the Department of Homeland Security in the first Trump administration has characterized as embarrassing, lawless, and cruel, talking about the way that ICE has been handling things. He goes on to say that these have now resulted in the fatal shootings of 2 U.S. citizens, and yet rather than trying to impose some semblance of discipline and accountability over the agents they've deployed, the president and current administration officials seem eager to escalate the situation, while offering public explanations for the shooting of Mr. Preddy and Renee Good that aren't informed by any serious investigation and that appear to be directly contradicted by video evidence. See, and then that's the interesting... That's the interesting thing about video breakdowns, right? We could have done that video breakdown earlier, and depending on how you frame things, even with people looking at the video, they'll believe a different story. The situation with Renee Good, she's in a car. There's a law enforcement officer circling her car. She floors it right as he's rounding the front of her car, almost hitting him, or does nick him a little bit. She got shot. She was resisting. There's an argument as to whether or not that's justified, but again, like I've always said with these situations, don't resist officers.
Yeah.
Not
Had
only
she
did-
waited another
yeah.
2 or 3 seconds for him to take another step or two around the edge of the front corner of that vehicle, she wouldn't have hit him. She still would have gotten away, but she wouldn't have hit him and she wouldn't have shot. She wouldn't have been shot. So like
She could also got out of the car when the other woman told her to get out of the car.
Yeah, he could have put the car in
Agreed.
park and complied with officers.
And then she could have not let the lesbian gaslight her into believing that they all had less than lethal rounds.
Go,
Like
baby, go.
exactly. And then the first thing she said after her, not wife was shot and this time I'm not just saying that lesbian marriage is not a real wedding. What I'm saying is she legally changed her name. They didn't actually get a wedding certificate.
So it's just a name change, no marriage certificate. It's interesting.
Right. So it looks like on paper they're married, but they're really not. So if she hadn't let that woman convince her that these officers are using like rubber bullets or whatever, and if she hadn't convinced that, if the lesbian lover had not convinced Renee right after dropping off her son at school to come out and protest, if she had not convinced her to start driving away when she was being arrested, like there's so many layers where that woman was gaslight into her death. And if you hadn't seen the one angle from the vehicle that was parked kind of in front of like from the direction that Renee tried to drive in, where you see the guy pull his leg back and then the vehicle hit his chest a little bit, it's the same as this one here, where if you hadn't seen that one angle where you can see the slide rack back, you might have a different opinion about this. The framing is super important.
And something I didn't know, Sean, I don't know if you knew this, but I actually learned about this while I was listening to Piers Morgan. That officer that was nearly ran over by Renee Good, just 6 months prior, was dragged about 100 feet by a vehicle while on duty.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So that adds another layer to why this officer, recognizing the danger of the situation, might open fire.
And then did you see the other one where somebody, I don't remember exactly what town this was in, but there was an officer who was like an SUV drove up a snow embankment after hitting an officer and like threw him basically. And the only reason he didn't get straight up just ran over exactly and he was thrown instead is because they were driving uphill up a snow embankment. And that one dropped like a day or two after the Renee Good story.
Our sergeant says, wait a second, you mean to tell me that somebody thought the agency tracking down narco drug terrorists wouldn't be using real bullets?
No,
yeah.
no, why would they?
I've said this a few times though, that it's learned. Well, the phrase that a particular friend of ours has called it is indignant retardation. They thought because they got away with shit during the protest in 2020 through 2024 that, there's nothing there. Sorry, 2016 through 2024. They thought that they were just going to have rubber bullets and maybe some tear gas or some shit like that. And then when they showed up with real bullets, they're like, oh, heavens me, I didn't know you were allowed to use real bullets.
Right. That's a good term. We'll say it again. Indignant retardation. Is that what you said?
Yeah, indignant retardation.
I like that.
I'd like to take credit for it, but unfortunately, it is Taylor Loren's ex-girlfriend who came up with that particular phrase. So
Yes.
indignant retardation. It's learned retardation. That's literally what it is. And because they're actively going against it, it's indignant. But that's what it is.
They always want to
learn to act a certain way.
And they always want to minimize their own actions too, because if the call it what you will, if the rules of engagement are you can't fire unless you are in danger, what they want to say is, well, I didn't put him in danger. He had no reason to shoot at me. All I did is try to drive away without disregarding the fact that your drive away route was going through an officer.
Joey, as someone who likes to talk about the ideas instead of the necessary stories, do you believe that we have kind of third-partied or
That's a good way to frame what I do.
and ostracized or put outside of our own self this sort of idea that we don't have responsibility for what we do because we're not really responsible for what we do anyways. It's a sort of intrinsic versus extrinsic thing. The extrinsic pressures are making me do it, therefore I don't have any responsibility for any of it.
I think
Um,
like I think like the circumstances of your life can be caused by outside forces, but how you handle it is still up to you. Because like I mean, that's proof by not everybody handles shit the same way. You know,
well, I
like
mean, it's not my fault that I slapped that dumbass on the back of the head,
no.
though. So don't punish me for it.
Well, that's if you can be conscious that your circumstances of your surroundings are affecting your everyday decisions, then you're aware of it. And if you choose to not do something about it once becoming aware of it, then you're just
I
dignitely retarded.
I had a saying that I used to use in like my bio
Indignant.
for my profiles. It
Yeah.
was something to the effect, you don't decide the deck of cards you're dealt, but you do get to decide how you play them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna fold or are you gonna throw the cards on the table and storm off? And
Or you got to know when to hold them.
Right.
yeah,
I
or
kind of
walk
want to
away.
double down on Stork's question and say, Joey, do you believe that the left wing rhetoric that says, for example, certain groups of society are so shaped by the way that history has unfolded and treated them means that they can't be held liable for their actions? Do you think that this is kind of a symptom of that?
I think I know what you're referring to, but yeah, I mean that is kind of like the similar type of uh, that's the type of thinking that they teach in schools and they teach in the media. That basically, if you've had a bad rap, I mean, it's how they this is how they portray it to the people, and the less intelligent people are going to eat this type of emotional shit up. Everything
Right.
that's happening in your life that sucks isn't really your fault. It's because these people made stupid decisions. And that's kind of how I feel about the government, honestly. Like, I mean, a lot of
Which
times
may
I
be
mean,
true, right?
yeah,
Which is the difficult thing about that. It could be
yeah.
true that these people made bad decisions, which affect you and makes it harder for you. But that does not
Mhm.
mean you get to turn that and be like, oh well, it's all their fault. I have no responsibility in this.
Yeah,
You can
you
can
still
still
have
decide how to
agency.
go forward.
Right, but that's
You're
what I
still
say. Like I can,
responsible for how you treat others.
right? Yeah, but
Agreed.
that's why I say I can see. Like again, with Luigi Mangione, I can see how someone can get to that point, especially if they're not necessarily aware of the big equation that we're all aware of. You know what I mean? Once you realize that, yes, the current circumstances of inflation, of being unable to buy a house and all that crap, that quite literally is the fault of previous governments continuing their crackdown on extracting wealth from the American people and consolidating business and power within the government. Like, they quite literally is their fault, right? It is. So, but that doesn't mean you can't make steps to somehow still get what you want, but you could also recognize that yes, it is their fault, and that's why we should be aware of this and be like, okay, well, now what do we do now with this information? And the thing that
Right.
you got that we're doing right now with this information is trying to spread the information so people can be more aware of that shit. And when they're aware of it, then they realize they can take steps to actually fix what the system is.
But
So,
so,
Agreed.
but how do we convince people when they when they get fed propaganda like this? I mean, look at the
Great question.
rest of the statement from Obama.
I'll let Matt
He goes
Clark
on to say
answer
here,
after me.
this has to stop. I would hope that after this most recent tragedy, administration officials would reconsider their approach and start finding ways to work constructively with Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, as well as state and local police, to avert more chaos and achieve legitimate law enforcement goals. So the framing here
Arrest
isn't
Obama.
even that the framing here is that Trump is not following the law. The ICE is not following the law, when it's actually the complete opposite. Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, as well as other state and local law enforcement and government officials, are purposefully ignoring the federal government, not sending in assistance, not sending in officers to help quell riots and protest. They're purposefully, if they're not just outright ignoring the help they need, they're just actively working against it and working to prevent it.
Yeah, I think it's so many layers, because on the one level, bottom line, this is why communists were not given civil rights under the 1963 Civil Rights Act, because this is what they do. They lie and they use the gaps between what is lawful and what is legal to manipulate society in order to
Mhm.
bring about their ends. That's just what they do. That's why we didn't give them civil rights. On the next level is you got to, like Obama right here, I'm pointing at my other screen. I'm not pointing at you, Stork. Obama is sowing dissent intentionally. Yeah. And he's trying to, for lack of better words, rally troops against the Constitution. And you have to deal with that. You cannot let that keep going. And then just to sort of like wrap, I got to get going. So I'm just kind of going to wrap around my entire stance here, building on what Joey was just saying. It comes a time where you have to recognize that you're being propagandized and refuse to let yourself become a weapon for the attack against your own people. Because that's what these people that are rallying in Minnesota are doing. That's the BLM movement where Soros is paying them and creating careers out of going out and protesting. We have to address it at the source. And the source right now is the top level politicians that are convincing the normal retards, the just convincing the normal retarded people like us. We've escaped the propaganda, at least to some degree, right? But these people at the top of politics and the top of presenting news to us are rallying retarded people who either don't have the time or the intellect to understand what's happening, and they're using them as weapons to push an agenda, and we have to address that at the root. It's the only way to do it.
I just want to read this because this is the last of his statement here, and Obama is directly calling for more people to peacefully protest, as he calls. In the meantime, every American should support and draw inspiration from the wave of peaceful protest in Minneapolis and other parts of the country. They are a timely reminder that ultimately it's up to each of us as a citizen, as citizens, to speak out against injustice, protect our basic freedoms, and hold our government accountable. So here we go, the former Democrat president saying that these shootings were completely unjust. The current administration is being unlawful and violating state and local law, and you should get out there and peacefully protest that. That's what Obama's. That's the message.
You should peacefully bite off the tip of an ICE agent's finger, because that happened a couple days ago.
We'll move to that. Well, let's transition to that story. Do you guys have any final thoughts about the Obama thing?
Yes, please. I want to push.
I gotta go. That's all you, bro.
A little bit. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No. Final thoughts before you go. Final thoughts. Go.
No. Go ahead, man. I got a couple minutes. I can let you get your word out.
What I've been trying to say here is that our sergeant had a comment or whatever here in the chat. He's talking about tolerance. It was way too far and everything happening on the right. And the thing about it is tolerance is not bad. It's acceptance that's bad. Tolerating somebody being dumb is okay. Accepting that they're dumb and incorporating the dumbassery into your own life, that's where things go too far. You have to make sure that the people who are acting dumb still know that they're dumb.
Stork makes an excellent point. I can tolerate a man that wants to be a woman, but I don't have to accept that he is.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me then I get you, boo-boo. But once you start like, oh, you got to refer to me as a woman, I'll be like, oh, no way, buddy.
But that's a major difference between the right and the left. That is it. And I used to get in arguments all the time back on Facebook when I was still on that thing.
Not MySpace?
The argument. Not MySpace. No, thanks. I am old. No, the argument that I kept having on Facebook, which I'm honestly shocked I never got kicked off for this, was whether or not certain things were intrinsic into your nature, whether or not certain things were naturally that you were born a certain way. And we went ahead and accepted that, and they just moved it a little bit further.
Right.
We didn't tolerate that argument. We accepted that argument.
Yeah, we full on embraced it and codified it.
Yeah, it was too cruel to not accept that, because otherwise it's something that they could act. I mean, and once you do that, once you accept a part of something, they just move to the next thing, and they just move to the next thing and the next thing. Once we accept that they have a right to be retarded in public in front of traffic, suddenly now we're arguing about whether or not they have a right to stand in front of traffic with a gun.
Right. Now, I don't think there's any points of disagreement between us right there. I think that I'm gonna use this opportunity to shamelessly plug for Joey and I, because you're effectively describing what led to Weimar Germany situations where a loaf of bread costs like 3 weeks worth of wages. and they wound up bussing in children as prostitutes because they wanted them and there was a demand for it. If you accept the things that you know to be vile, then you will have you're left in a no alternate choices situation where either you accept the next thing that they try to usher in that you know to be vile, or you stand up and resist it. And they've somehow, I mean, we could go on, we could wax philosophically about how they convince them to do this, but they have brainwashed people into believing that they are resisting the corruption of society by ushering in, by encouraging and helping the ushering in of the trans agenda of, you could tie in the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, where you convince people that you're a bad parent and it's okay for the hospital to call CPS on you if you don't give them that shot before you leave the hospital. There's so many layers to this, and Stork, you just put it brilliantly. Somebody should jump back and clip that for sure. So the shameless plug is, this is what Joey and I have been talking about with the Money Masters series. They convinced us that the fiat fractional reserve central banking system that is actually not a central bank, that is integral or intimately tied with the government, but it's actually a third party organization that is loaning us money and leeching funds out of us. This is what we've been talking about. If a lot of you have probably already seen it, but if you haven't, tune back into it. It's worth watching. But I got to get out of here, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for all your time. Tyler, this is a great episode. Appreciate it as always. Stork, Joey, I'll catch you guys later.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
What's funny though about the point you guys are making, where Obama's basically like, oh, you guys gotta get in the street, we need more people protesting. How commie of them to just literally throw bodies at the problem. I mean, that's how communists always treat their civilians. Like, look at the Russians in World War II. You had a soldier and then you had an ammo runner behind him. Like, damn, they just threw bodies at the problem. Hey, if comrade in front of you dies, pick up his gun.
Because we could think of alternate responses that would have been way better from Obama. What if Obama came out and said, guys, I understand you're upset at what is happening with this current administration and the immigration and custom enforcement. We need to remember that law enforcement is just doing their job, and you should not be fighting with law enforcement. Like, what if he just came out in a statement and was like, guys, I understand you're upset. Don't fight with law enforcement.
So you can get assassinated? Like, you can't do that, Obama. You must read the script.
Yeah, you got to read the script. But yeah, final thoughts on the shooting of Alexei or the statement on Obama. We'll finally move on. There was a lot to be said there because it just happened. So,
government conspiracy.
Any final thoughts, or are you guys ready to move on?
No, I'm good. We can move on.
Okay.
I will say though, did you guys hear about California? No, it's a tangent. I apologize.
Okay, if we're gonna go on a tangent, I'm gonna stop the recording because that's a segment right there. There we go. Okay, now you can go on your tangent.
No. The slight tangent is the California thing, because one of you guys mentioned the vaccination. California has joined now international organizations for governors and officials who are requiring that now. They joined some sort of UN panel or something like that outside of the United States involvement in it. And that happened Thursday or Friday after Trump.
Are they allowed to do that?
Well, it's a very good question. There's a lot of questions I have that, because there's all sorts of organizations inside of the UN for governors and mayors and all of that, where the mayor of Tokyo meets up with the mayor of Los Angeles, and they're sitting there and trying to have cooperation. And it's not usually a big deal. Normally it's hey, we're going to send some people over there and have kind of like a movie thing, and we'll send some people over there and have like an anime thing or whatever for a convention. Normally that's what it is. It's usually kind of just a peaceful, benign thing. But now we're talking about health organizations and what their policies are going to be. That's
Box said that smells like treason. That does smell like treason.
It does kind of smell like treason.
So,
well, that's just another reason for me to never have children in this state. So,
but then again, I mean, that smells like treason. But again, so is the Federal Reserve. But whatever.
But what do I know? Yeah,
what do I know? I mean, it's the same concept of like entrusting decisions to bodies that aren't governable in the United States.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't. California is a weird place. I think California should just be invaded and conquered by the federal government. But that's my stance. Anyway,
Big government confirmed.
let's move on. I do want to move on. I want to move on to this other story. So this is may not be as well known as the Alexei shooting, but this also happened this week. May have been the same day even. Officer will now lose his finger after unhinged Minnesota rioter bit him during protest. And I can't show it because of YouTube, but the dude's whatever you call this finger, the one next, not your index, the other one next to your middle finger, basically from the first knuckle up, gone. They bit his fucking finger off.
Jesus, some sharp teeth.
Which hand, right or left?
I think they blurred in the video. Let's see. Warning: distressing content. If it's not blurred, then oh fucking well, YouTube. Let's see. I'll unmute it. Not that you guys can hear it. Oh, don't pause on me. Hello? Loading? Motherfucker. They have a picture.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Here. No, you can't
Oh, it's
fucking
his right
see.
hand, right
So it's
hand.
his right hand,
hand.
yeah. But yeah, so it's blurred, so you can't see. But literally from that first knuckle up is gone. So yeah, they took that man's finger. They bit his finger off.
You mean just above the nail, right? When you say first knuckle?
No. So like when you no it so you have your knuckle that
Like the middle of the finger.
Yeah, it's like the middle of the finger. So they took half
So
his finger.
here or here?
The first one.
This one?
That one and up. They
Okay.
took it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, fun stuff, right? I mean, that doesn't happen every day. Let's read this article. I like getting news from the New York Post. They're usually pretty good. Chaos erupted in Minneapolis Saturday after hundreds of protesters faced off against federal agents in the wake of the fatal shooting of an armed man who allegedly tried to intervene in the arrest of a criminal migrant. One Homeland Security agent even lost a finger in the violence, according to DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. She posted photos of a sobbing demonstrator and the bloody severed digit. In Minneapolis, these rioters attacked our law enforcement officer, and one of them bit off our officer's finger. He will lose his finger. Tensions flared as law enforcement tried to secure the area around the West 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue in South Minneapolis Saturday morning, where Alex Jeffrey Preddy was shot and killed. So this was after he was shot and killed.
Can
I'm
you still
just
hold a gun
confused
like that?
how aiding and abetting illegals who shouldn't be in this country isn't an automatic arrest.
It beats me. What were you gonna say, Stork?
Can you still hold a gun like that?
Yeah, because that's not the finger you pull the trigger with.
Yeah, that's the finger
Yeah,
that
but you
wraps
got to
around the
grip
handle.
though.
Well, as
Yeah,
long as
sure,
you have
you're-
your thumb and
It
your
will-
middle
it
and
will affect
pinky,
your-
you're good.
No, he's not. It will affect your grip strength in
Yeah.
certain aspects. So, like if someone were to swipe at you or something, it might you'd have to really overcompensate with the pinky finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it doable? Yes. Is it gonna be harder? Probably.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a famous case of a basketball player. He got drafted like Jesus Christ, like 20 years ago at this
You
point.
got
Gerald
drafted
Green,
like
where he-
Jesus Christ? Whoa.
No. I'm saying Jesus Christ was like 20 years ago. There's a basketball player named Gerald Green who basically was missing most of his ring finger because he tried climbing a fence when he was young and he fucking his finger ripped off. So like he was able to be a very, very good shooter, just shooting like that, even though he couldn't grip it with all of his fingers. So it's possible to, as long as you compensate with the other finger, you'll be fine.
So tensions flared as law enforcement tried to secure the area around 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue in South Minneapolis Saturday morning, where Alex Jeffrey Preddy was shot and killed. Protesters flooded the streets, jeering at masked agents with some blowing loud whistles, while federal forces fired repeated volleys of tear gas trying to disperse the crowds. Rioters tossed trash cans at top of armored vehicles and other projectiles while screaming "fuck you" at armed officers. About 200 rioters arrived on scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement on the scene. Crowd control measures were deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. So it goes down here, it goes to the guy who had his finger bit. So this is because of the rioting and the protesting we're now seeing on the street where Preddy was killed Friday. So this is a direct result of the shooting. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called in the National Guard to help secure the Whipple Federal Building, which has been used by immigration authorities as a detention center due to the potential for continuing and growing conflict. We recognize that there's a lot of danger, or a lot of anger, and a lot of questions around what has happened, but we need people to remain peaceful in the area, and we have an unlawful assembly at this time. So this is the individual that bit off the ICE agent's finger.
Do we know her name? His name? Their name?
Its name.
Its name?
Do we know its name? Preddy, 37, died at the scene after authorities alleged he brandished a weapon as they attempted to arrest Jose Huerta Kuma, whose criminal record includes domestic violence. Well, he did not brandish a firearm, but you guys can continue with that narrative, I suppose. As the dramatic events unfolded on the streets that include boutique donut shops and ethnic restaurants, one protester carried an upside-down American flag. Federal agents, many wearing gas masks, struggled to secure police tape that had gotten ripped down near intersections, the site of the shooting, as they sought to impose order block by block. Where does it get to the part where he had his fucking finger bit off?
I love it. We got to be more like the left. We got to get organized. We got to be passionate about this. And the right's like, yeah, we'll just do their propaganda media.
It doesn't even talk about how he lost his fucking finger. It's just talking about the Alexei shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Best I could do is propaganda.
Best I could do is talk about propaganda, yeah.
Listen, best I can do is propaganda.
I mean,
Speaking of propaganda, guys,
the story as we know it, though, is he got into a scuffle with a rioter, and the rioter bit his fucking finger off. That's the best we know.
Speaking of propaganda, I'll be doing Nightcap in about an hour. I know, very early, but I want to try to do Sunday.
About 60, 70 minutes from now. It's fine. I have a lot of other stories to talk about. So this is just a consequence of that shooting that had happened on Friday, which again,
I can tell you why there's not more.
Why?
Because they're not even sure if the woman that was whatever that is pictured in that article is even the right person. So the reason they're not naming the suspects is that they have two people they believe could be the person involved arrested, and they don't have any other information. Or that I'm just going to tell you right now, if they've got two people arrested and they don't even know which one's the person who bit off the finger, they're probably going to get away with this because they literally don't know who did it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, wouldn't they be able to swab for DNA, like, in the people's mouth? Like,
I'm sure
like, oh, you got a bit of skin between your teeth right there. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, realistically, though, like, they don't know who did it, though. So that's what the situation is. That's why they
got to waterboard them so you get an admission of guilt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that totally works.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you just gotta put them in a room for 24 hours and InfoWars playing.
Oh yeah, that'll
get
them.
That's why they keep saying rioters or something like that, because they literally do not know who did it.
They don't know if the people they grabbed are even the right ones. Great. That's awesome. Well, yeah. So that happened over the weekend. Woohoo. But well, we can move on. I have so many stories that we didn't even get to. I did not expect to talk about that shooting for so long. So we're gonna move things along. What story do I want to bring up next? Do you guys want to talk about how we're going to war with Iran or
again?
Let's see.
First time.
Here's another issue that I don't care about anymore.
Well, so we have multiple U.S. warships now heading towards the Middle East again. So that's always fun. And then we have articles. I have a couple of articles, one from Fox and then one from the New York Post. So here, I forgot to click record. So we have this one from the New York Post. What the fuck is going on over here? Anyway, Iran Supreme Leader retreats underground, warned of likelihood of U.S. airstrikes, according to a report. So now the leader of Iran has gone into hiding because he has intelligence that we're going to come and bomb them.
Yeah, I don't know. I see all these videos of protests in Iran. I don't know what to believe. I don't know.
But Joey, the people in Iran are graffitiing things like Donald Trump, please help.
Yeah. I know. Like, knowing what you know about how like these government agencies typically operate with their fucking sleeper cells and stuff, like how am I supposed to know how much of these protests are actually fucking real? And like I'm sure there's some people that would like to see the regime toppled, but like I just think about like the bullshit that they would say if this was happening in our country, and just like I just don't know what I fucking believe. Like, you know, Donald Trump could get assassinated like legitimately tomorrow, and there'd be people celebrating in the streets, and then another media would be like, look at that. The American
America
people are
rejoices.
happy about, yeah, look at Americans rejoicing over Donald Trump's reign of terror being ended. So listen, I'm not saying the Iranian Ayatollah or whatever the fuck he is good or whatever the fuck, but I'm just saying I don't know.
We don't live
just kinda
there. We
raised,
don't
like,
speak the language. We don't know the culture there. Like we talk about getting the cultural zeitgeist, right? Like figuring out what real people want in America. Well, we can't even figure out what real people want in America. How the fuck are we going to know what the Iranians want?
Yeah, this just rings of the same typical agitators, justification, invasion. You know, it doesn't matter if it's for a quote righteous cause, which is how they always try to sell it. Is they always try to sell it as a righteous cause. They never not try to sell it as a righteous cause. So it just has all the earmarks of the same old shit. It doesn't matter to me whether it's, you know, a good thing that would happen for the region if it happens or not. It's just the same old shit. That's all.
From what I understand, the agreement was no more death of civilians, no more going after the civilian protesters. They violated that. They're currently over 20,000 people. Now, the question is, why the fuck are we getting involved with the country on the other side of the world demanding that they stop killing people?
Yeah, that was gonna be immediately my follow-up statement is, who are we to decide whether or not a country decides it's to kill its citizens? Am I going to say that it's right that they're doing that? Fuck no, but I'm also not going to be like, guys, they're killing their citizens. We need to send in our entire military.
Yeah, maybe I'm okay with our citizens first.
I'm okay with the Don Rowe doctrine of the Western Hemisphere is ours, back the off, get out commies. But I'm not okay with the Iranian thing.
We talked about this a little bit with the Venezuelan dictator being kidnapped, which I still find fucking hilarious. Do I fully agree with what happened? No, but I also think it's amazingly badass that we did it. And I also, I'm not, like you said, I'm not entirely against enforcing our rule in our own hemisphere. But when you start talking about going over entire oceans to go and, you know, enact your rule, I'm not down for that. Sorry.
I have Iranian friends. I've been told that he doesn't actually preside over the government, that it's actually like 4 or 5 people that are like ministers of this or that,
like China,
that kind of puppet the entire country. So the thing is like going in there and thinking we're gonna like kidnap one guy to stop everything. It's not going to get anything done.
Yeah, right. You're going to we're going to replace the fucking Iranian leader.
Going to kidnap the Ayatollah.
The same thing is just going to fucking rise up, and each time they do it, it's just going to cause more fucking. It's the same thing they're doing to the citizens in the United States, though. They're just doing this thing of constantly getting populations fucking angry and in revolutionary mindset.
Well,
so
not only that,
replace these leaders whenever the fuck they want.
Do you guys know? And I've talked about this on other things, but like, do you guys know why they're like rioting?
No,
I don't know why they're writing.
I don't even pay attention. I don't even believe that.
A lot of people don't know this, but they've been under decades of drought.
Oh, drought, yeah.
Yeah. They've actually had to like evacuate villages and certain towns and stuff because there's no water.
Oh, so you're saying they're mispurposing a movement and making it appear like something else?
Well, I mean, yeah, one, there's that, but I mean, like the second part of it is what I can't remember who it is. There's a guy, and he came out and said it just very bluntly. The thing that a lot of Muslims need to come to terms with is the fact that if it were right, they wouldn't be starving and at the mercy of all the Western nations. If they were right, they wouldn't be sitting there struggling. And the response to that, just for the record, that I've heard is it's because they're not actively fighting hard enough. That's why they're being punished. But yeah, no, it just...
You could say the same thing about the West, honestly. We're being punished by these fucking globalists because we just won't fight hard enough.
Some deplorable said that their economy has fucking collapsed. That's one of the big instigators. Yes, the droughts as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. They haven't had an economy for something like 20, 30 years. The only time they ever get anything good coming in is when we lift sanctions on them. And yeah, it's just, what are we supposed to do here? Like, what would you like us to do? It's fighting a Hydra. There's no reason for us to go in there.
Let Israel handle it. Isn't that
Well,
why we
and
give
then
them so much
to,
money?
to that point, Joey, how do we know Israel didn't instigate these riots?
I'm sure they're probably the agents that helped instigate them.
I'm
you
sure
know?
that
The
there's
United States is
agents
like,
going
"Hey,
around
Netanyahu."
graffitiing in English
Yeah.
saying that Donald Trump
Right.
needs to please help.
Joey,
Yeah, please
Joey,
help
I
them.
have
Please
I have an
help
official
them.
name for this theory now. You ready?
Oh,
It's
yeah?
No.
Operation Goyim. Or not Goyim. Operation. What is it? We got to come up with a thing, because Operation Goyim would be us going in there first. We have to come up with a different one.
Operation got
Lahoyim. Operation Lahoyim.
him.
Mitzvah. Operation Mitzvah.
Operation
Anyhow,
Mitzvah.
Operation
There we go.
Fractional Reserve Banking. There you go. Did it for you.
anyhow.
Operation Talmud.
So yeah, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, whatever.
Operation.
He's gone Khamenei. He's gone underground, reportedly hiding out in a bunker out of fear of being wiped out by U.S. airstrikes as the USS Abraham Lincoln steams towards the Persian Gulf. The 86-year-old
Abraham
Supreme
Lincoln
Leader
was
has moved
destroyed.
to a fortified shelter in Tehran connected to a series of elaborate underground tunnels after senior military officials warned of the increasing likelihood of an imminent U.S. attack, Iran International reported, according to the Jerusalem Post. Khamenei has left his youngest son, Masoud Khamenei, 53, in charge of running the day-to-day management of the Islamic Republic, the Jerusalem Post reported. So, so just he's going to leave his son to get bombed. He's going to go underground.
I do think that his youngest son being named Mossad is kind of ironic. Anyhow,
Masoud. It's a different
Mossad.
spelling. It's a different spelling, you know.
Bro, it's like that's like the difference between like fucking Tyler, like these are all just fucking their names. Like Assad is like John Smith or some shit, you know. Mohammed is like fucking John Johnson. I don't know. Like these are just their generic, you know, like our version of Steve and Bill and stuff. You know,
Dan and
yeah, Dan, Steve, Bill, just good old Mohammed and Assad.
yeah. So his son's emergency duties include being the primary communication channel with the regime's executive branch. Iran has deemed the likelihood of U.S. airstrikes to be high after President Trump announced that warships were headed to the Middle East as a warning sign to the Ayatollah. Following a continuing war of words between the two leaders in recent days, Trump boasted Friday that the U.S. Navy was sending a massive armada. The Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, which includes 3 destroyers, is currently motoring from the Indian Ocean to the Persian Gulf region of Iran, Stars and Stripes reported. Publicly, Tehran has not backed down from heightened tensions with the U.S. as Iranian President Mossad Pezeshkian threatened to treat any attack against the Supreme Leader by the U.S. or Israel as an all-out war against us. It's interesting how they include Israel there. Is Israel going to be included in the operation here? Sorry, that's a joke. Of course they're going to be.
Well, of course, we need their intelligence.
We
from all
always need their
embedded agents,
intel.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, you know,
The
ethnically being from that
instigators on the
fucking
inside
region,
could help give us info.
You know, they all have the same fucking similar genetic makeup. You could disguise an Israeli to look like an Iranian. Probably they all got those lethal noses anyway.
Lethal noses is an insane
Yeah.
comment. Let's see.
Well, you see the nose, you know to be careful whether it's a Muslim or a Jew.
So yeah, we might be launching attacks against Iran, and I'm not here for it. I'm just not.
Hey, well, listen, are you tired of winning?
I'm tired of a lot of things, Joey, and winning is not one of them.
Yeah, I'm not tired of winning
Can you
yet,
tell
bro.
us
This is
what your
great.
response-
This is nothing like anything we've ever experienced before. All this winning,
all of this
Yep.
winning, it is just too much.
never experienced anything like this. This feeling was one that cannot be replicated.
Yeah. Do you have any other stories, or what do you have next? Sorry.
I have a ton of stories. I'm trying to see if here it is. So we can include this in this segment. Let's bring up this story. So I wanted to add that I feel like Trump is, after Venezuela, I feel like he's going to be emboldened to go through with more operations like that. So I do
Almost like he's a
worry.
Middle Eastern dictator.
I do worry that we're sending forces to the Middle East now, because I don't know what Trump's gonna do. He might actually fucking do something. I don't like that. But so we have this from the Post Millennial. Apparently, Trump said that the U.S. used a secret weapon known as the discombobulator during the Maduro raid. So this is a quote from Trump. They never got their rockets off. They had Russian and Chinese rockets, and they never got one off. We came in, they pressed buttons, and nothing worked.
Interesting. The discombobulator.
The discombobulator. Dude, it sounds
What
like
is it, like
something.
Call of Duty Black
that sounds
Ops
like
2 or
something
some
Groove
shit?
from Despicable Me would create with his fucking scientist after the fart gun.
You got the discombobulator?
The discombobulator.
We got to get within range.
So yeah, President
Do it
Donald Trump.
now!
So Donald Trump confirmed that the United States used a secret super weapon. Well, it's not secret anymore.
Thanks.
A formerly secret super weapon during the raid that led to the capture of the Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. In an interview with the New York Post, Trump said that the weapon, which he referred to as the discombobulator, was deployed when U.S. forces flew into the Venezuelan capital by helicopter on January 3rd. The discombobulator, I'm not allowed to talk about it. You're talking about it right now.
Listen, folks, the discombobulator, and I'm not allowed to talk about it, but it discombobulates.
It
Trust me.
discombobulates.
Like you wouldn't believe it
Joey,
discombobulates.
they never got their rockets off. They had Russian and Chinese rockets. They never got one off. We came in. They pressed
Russian
the
and Chinese
buttons,
Blue
and
Chew
nothing
don't
worked.
work. Only American Blue Chew works, folks, not Russian and Chinese. I always get off with Melania, okay, like you wouldn't believe. But those rockets, they did not get off, like you wouldn't believe.
You wouldn't believe.
I was just waiting to make the joke. I'm glad Joey made it before I could get there. So there we go.
Like you wouldn't believe.
Well, so this does make sense, though, because this does follow similar reports from the soldiers at the compound having bleeding out their mouth, nose, and ears, or their eyes, or something. They had blood coming out of all the orifices in their face. And that makes sense, because the type of weapon like this would do that. Trump did not elaborate further on the nature of the weapon. His comments followed earlier reports that the Department of Homeland Security during the Biden administration had purchased a device in an undercover operation that investigators claim could cause what is known as Havana syndrome. Wait a fucking minute. What do you mean purchased a device? Who the fuck had it before us?
Oh, the Federal Reserve, of course.
Israel.
Israel.
We got it in Israel.
Yeah, well, we come up with this device, and it's Talmudic in nature, but you have to use it correctly.
It only works against the non-Jews. Only the
If
non-Jews
you don't-
will hear this.
If you don't have a private central bank, you will not be safe from this weapon.
Thank God all of our soldiers were circumcised prior to the operation.
Well, if they weren't, then it would have.
So yeah, accounts from Caracas following the raid described severe physical effects among Maduro's security personnel. Reports claim that the gunmen protecting Maduro were incapacitated, with some bleeding through the nose and vomiting blood during the raid. One guard said that suddenly all of our radar systems shut down without any explanation. I mean, that is pretty insane.
Discombobulated all the particles in the fucking universe. Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't fucking use any.
We're gonna go to Maduro's bedroom, and there's gonna be a big fucking black hole by the bed.
It's
Guys,
combobulated.
radar technology is, I think, 100 years old, just over 100 years old. Like, the idea that we wouldn't have some way to like shut down radar at this point.
But Stork, how
Yeah,
is
but
the
it was-
helicopter still working?
Yeah,
The
but they were
tide comes
talking
in,
about,
the tide goes out. I mean,
like they were talking about like the weapons too, and then like I guess all their organs are getting scrambled. They're discombobulated. Excuse me. I don't want to.
look, if you don't understand how the helicopter stays flying while everything else shuts down, ask the Talmud, okay?
It's Talmudic in nature. That's why.
Dude, I just want to know how big the earplugs were for our soldiers to not get discombobulated during the raid, you know?
What do they just play the brown noise?
They learned it from South Park. You just walk in, all the guards are shitting themselves uncontrollably. And you're like, yeah, they were incapacitated. They couldn't do anything.
They were discombobulated, and that's
They were
putting it lightly, folks.
Look.
They were discombobulated like you wouldn't believe.
Dude,
I've never seen such discombobulation.
Just imagine Trump watching
on
watching
such
the
a
body
mass
cam
scale,
footage
folks.
back, and he's like, "Oh man, look at that guy. He really had to go."
He's probably stroking it to it.
What did the guy
I
even
love a
have
good
for
military
dinner?
operation, folks.
This is why I eat McDonald's every day, so I don't shit myself like this.
Wouldn't that make you shit yourself?
Listen, I have an iron stomach because of it.
Because
I
of the
don't know if you
McDonald's.
know this, but McDonald's has actually upscaled their stuff because they have to justify the fact that they're not cheap as shit anymore. So, you know.
I've
I
noticed the
don't
nuggets
care
taste very
because they
yummy.
still put they still put aluminum in their fries. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anyhow.
Anyhow,
No. All of this is going on, but yeah, they most of this technology I think we've heard about either leaked or directly from the US government over the last like 20, 30 years. So I'm honestly sitting here going, yeah, didn't we already know you had that?
well, we knew. Yeah, there have been leaks and like declassified documents showing that we do have technology like this. But I think this is like the first time the government has officially recognized that we're using the technology.
Like you guys know that we have directed speakers that they're capable of projecting sound in a straight line instead of the cone,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. We have directed speaker technology now. Like a lot of people forget that.
Sound waves.
Well, a lot of this technology is just outdated. This stuff is old. All of this is old. Even this stuff that, while it's new to be used in combat, it's still old. And the only reason that we haven't been using it is because all these other countries haven't been able to keep up with us in terms of technological advancement. But, you know, when it's a situation like this, where it's like we can use this, it minimalizes harm to our soldiers, minimalizes the amount of people we have to kill, then we go ahead and use it, you know?
Wait a minute. Are you saying that the Biden administration bought a weapon and then Donald Trump used that weapon?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like our old tech though that we sell to other countries. That's where most of these guys have gotten their technology from, is Russia or some country like that produces this technology, and then they bought it like 20 years ago. And they're like,
bought it from
how does our
Chechen
20-year-old? Well, yeah, no, I mean they're literally sitting there with a 20-year-old purchase that's 40-year-old technology, wondering how the U.S. could shut down their radar. Like,
well, and that's
they'll
not
never
even
know
that.
when they get hit with the discombobulator, folks.
A lot of people forget how long ago was it that we invented nukes. Like, we've come a very long way from a lot of these technologies. And to think that we don't have something new, you know, waiting in the sidelines is just outrageous to me. That I've always said this about World War III, though. That's what I'm most excited about, is all the cool technology that'll finally be public once we have to use it.
Do you think the United States government legitimately has the capabilities to take down Omni-Man, Tyler?
yes.
Omni-Man? I don't know about that. Our
he's
government in real life?
I don't think sensitive to sound though, just like Superman. So we might have some.
Oh, okay. Well, if they, yeah, no,
ultraviolet, supersonic discombobulator.
then he's fucked. Yeah, then he's fucked. Yeah.
Donald Trump's like, Omni-Man didn't stand a chance once I hit him with the discombobulator.
I hit him with the discombobulator. He started shitting his pants uncontrollably.
And the force of him shitting, folks, we no longer have South America.
When is the next season of Invincible coming out anyways?
This year.
I don't know, but the next season of The Boys is coming out in a few months.
Yeah, I think they come out around the same time, actually, Joey.
So I think April or late March for The Boys.
That's going to be fucking awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I rewatched the show recently, actually, for like the third time.
Invincible or The Boys?
March.
I've seen Invincible a couple of times too, but I mean I had the whole comic. I read the whole comic, but
have you seen their other show that they did? It was like what was it? Gen V. Have you seen the Gen V series?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. But
you gotta watch it. You have to watch it before the new
The
series.
Boys is April. The Boys is April. Invincible is in March. So it looks like they're probably going to do one into the other.
I do love that the funniness from both sides though, where like the Boys creator is like, yeah, we're making fun of Donald Trump. I'm like, yeah, but you guys are really showing how disingenuous liberals are too. But they're complaining on the right, be like, oh, I used to like the Boys in season 1, but now it's woke. It's like, oh my god,
whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Everything's woke.
Everything Joey, go watch.
Seriously, actually, the right doesn't like being made fun of at all. They always like, oh, I don't care if it's fair and balanced or whatever. But no, they just don't like being made fun of at all.
We'll just have Israel seize Omni-Man's bank accounts and foreclose his
Yeah,
home.
what
You'll
we
never
do.
get another loan with a sub 620
Well, listen, if they
credit
have something
score,
like
Goy.
if they have something like that in the updated season where it's like everyone bows to Israel, but Omni-Man snaps and he's like, no, then there's gonna be so many people on the right that are like, yeah,
That'd be fucking hilarious. There was some. Oh no, but yeah, Joey, go watch Gen V because it directly ties into the boys.
I know.
So anyway, and it was actually really good. I did enjoy it. But anyway,
You wouldn't believe.
yeah, it just talks about here. It just talks about how they saw drones, a lot of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. Yeah, that sounds fucking terrible. Please just shoot me. Don't give me the worst migraine I'll ever experience in my life. Please just shoot me.
That's what Nora has to deal with every day.
Right? No, they should have
That's why
just
she has the
positioned
sunglasses.
Nora to defend Nicholas Maduro. She'd be the one guard at his door, like, none shop ass.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
defense
she's not
against the
discombobulated.
The defense against the discombobulator is wearing sunglasses. It's like Magneto with his helmet on.
I'm telling you, man, I want to see the earplugs that our soldiers had. No, that'll be the next thing, Joey. We'll have super suits where they just put their hand out and sound wave you. That's what the law enforcement need. Instead of Alexei getting shot, he could have just been sound waved to the floor.
Yeah, right. They're just gonna have sound guns. It's gonna fit you with a blast of sound and just. It's not going to
that's-
be lethal enough to kill you, but it's going to throw you into that fucking car and crack your
Dude,
skull.
the future's gonna be fucking terrible. Instead of tear gas, they're just gonna throw these little sound bombs.
Yeah, right. They're just mini discombobulator grenades, bro.
Oh
You
my
got
God.
the discombobulator grenades.
We're making jokes about it, but that is the future.
That's what's gonna happen. Instead of tear gas where people are coughing and stuff, people are now gonna be throwing up and shitting their brains out in the street. They're gonna be really embarrassed to protest now. They're not gonna look like fucking soldiers in a war. They're gonna look like people who ate the wrong Chinese food.
I'm confused because we know that Egypt during the uprisings and everything, we know Egypt used those.
That's true.
Maybe that's where we got them from.
Oh yeah, maybe we got
Like,
him from
we-
Egypt. Who got him from Israel?
No. I'm being
Color
serious.
revolution.
We
Actually,
know
Egypt
that,
got it from Raytheon, and then we get it from Egypt.
Oh, there we
we,
go.
we know
Raytheon
that a
gotta
lot
get
of
paid, bro.
countries around the world, when they were having protests, already used those. Germany, I think, used them 5 or 10 years ago. Like we know this exists. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't even a question. So I'm confused as to why some people are like, we made them shit their pants. I'm like, no, like we've seen this before.
It's just hilarious. It's just I still find it hilarious, even if it's old technology.
yeah.
I don't care. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah. No, it is fucking hilarious though. My question is did they actually admit the sound waves though from the drones? Like were the drones using directional like technology to like make people shit themselves?
That'd be pretty
That'd
funny.
be kind of cool.
just like this, like instead of like in the Call of Duty games, you have like the mounted machine gun. Instead of that, you just have a mounted sound blaster and just switch in the direction like it's a fucking fan or some shit. Can't even see. Just
Also
see
used in
the
Cuba,
air.
I believe. Well, that's why they call it the Havana syndrome, because that shit goes back to like the 60s or 70s or whatever. They're like flashbangs with brown noise, but we call them shit bangs.
Sean's Ivy said
I
that
like
they're
that.
like flashbangs with the
Yeah.
brown noise, but we call them shit bangs.
Mm. You got the shit bangs.
You got the shit bangs.
Yeah, the water's already bad enough down here. Imagine,
Dude, just
what
imagine
the
having some
shitbang will
shit
do.
bangs back in Vietnam, though, just to fill in those tunnels.
We don't
I
need
s-
a
I
we don't need to
still
pave
don't
this with cement.
understand.
We just use the shit bangs. There's
I still don't
shit all over
understand the
place.
tunnels, man. I
The what?
watched Platoon for the first time recently, and I'm looking at this like tunnels and everything, and I've thought this for a long time. I'm like, why the fuck didn't we just like carpet bomb where we knew what the tunnels were, and just said fuck it?
No
Bunker
because
bust all the
my
tunnels.
uncle. If
Yeah.
you're talking about Vietnam, my uncle told me why. I mean, we all know why, but he told me that on the ground they had these fucking stupid rules of engagement. It was like they just weren't allowed, even if they know something was happening, they weren't allowed to do something unless they were like attacked first. So like, I guess that's probably why.
Yeah, but instead
you
of
just-
napalm, we should have just been dropping real bombs.
Well, no, because they needed to. We needed to have Monsanto experiment with new technology. That's what it was. It wasn't necessarily about. It was a good opportunity to test things, Tyler. We didn't want to kill them. We wanted to see what happened.
They had artillery lined up all throughout the country. They could have done the whole shit. I think they should have literally found one of these fucking crawl spaces, whatever you want to call them, and just calculated which direction the tunnel went, and then
That's
just
assuming
said
that
launch
they were
it.
fighting this war to win the war, though. You know, they weren't doing that in Vietnam. That's not why they were in
Well,
that
that's
war.
honestly my question. Whenever we talk about Iran or when we talk about Venezuela or any of that, what tangible goal can we reach to end the war?
With radical Islamists, probably nothing. You'd have to wipe them out. So,
Well, I just that's kind of what I'm saying. Like there is no tangible goal to winning the war. That's why I'm like,
because yeah, there's no winning with that. If you wipe out a whole nation of people, then you're not going to have the global or the most of the fucking people in this country on your side. So there's really no solution other than try to distract them with something and see how long they can be occupied by it, I guess.
I mean, I've given it a real long.
Perhaps that's the real
man.
purpose of the Middle Eastern wars is they just rather just isolate them to fighting our soldiers in there instead of having them outwardly come. But then again, that causes the refugee crisis. So perhaps not. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I have thought of what the actual like solution to that problem is. I'm not going to say it online anywhere. No, there is actually an actual
well, I guess
solution.
there technically is, but
no, there is, but I'm not going to say it on YouTube or Rumble or anywhere online because fuck.
I want to move to the next story because we do have more to talk about. So let's move on. I got another comment from Audrey on YouTube. Andrew Paul Johnson, one of the J6 rioters pardoned by President Trump, is scheduled for trial next month. He has now been charged with child sex abuse, molestation of a child under 12, and other crimes. Audrey, I'm not sure why you're bringing that up. I think the people that were there on J6 should be pardoned. But if they go on to commit other crimes, fuck them, especially if it's something like that.
Yeah, well, I don't understand the point of that one. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody see. Here's the thing: when you talk about like defending like people's rights and stuff, I don't have necessarily a vested interest in any of the January 6ers except for Karen Jones. I don't have a vested interest in any of them. So like, it's about the principle, though. It's about the principle of the fact that you will just decide whenever something is unlawful and keep people in jail as long as you want without any charges. That's not right, and it doesn't matter if that's left or right. Like, you need to have charges brought against people. You need to have a right to a speedy trial, and you need to be, we've given our prison population certain rights, and if they're going to deprive them of that over political reasons, then that's wrong.
It wasn't even just that, though, Joey. There were political prisoners that were denied medical care. As we know, Joshua Matthew Black was denied medical care for the entire time he had that wound in his face. It got so bad that it literally got infected. So the way they treated the J6ers was punishment enough for anything that they did that day. If they go on to commit subsequent crimes, charge them, arrest them, whatever you got to do.
Right. It's completely different. Like it's, I mean, yeah, I don't know what the correlation is. Like, are they think that we're just going to defend someone on the right no matter what? Like, I'm not on the right or the left. I don't give a shit about the right or the left. You guys know this. I am fucking completely somewhere outside of the fucking system, because if I really say how I feel about both sides and like the things that they should and shouldn't do, like both sides aren't going to like me. So it doesn't matter to me. But like, we got to talk about what's right to do as far as like the whole idea of reasonable doubt and everything that we believe in the justice system. Nothing they did on January 6th makes sense. And on the same token, like when it comes to potentially arresting these rioters, like there's actually reasons you could put on the books for Donald Trump to go in there and arrest some of these people, and they just won't do it. So they just won't do it. So one side's willing to do it. And that's not even saying like, oh, well, they're willing to do it. They're willing to do it. Like Donald Trump could literally have a good reason to do it and still treat the prisoners as they're supposed to be treated according to the U.S. Constitution of being taken care of, right to a fair trial, not cruel and unusual punishment, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like both sides don't want to fucking ever do what the goddamn right thing is. They keep claiming to try to find middle ground. This is what the pulse of the nation, and it's never actually what we're supposed to fucking do on both sides.
Absolutely. So yeah,
I need more coffee.
like you said, I'm not entirely. I think the point is that the commenter assumes that we're more right leaning and is trying to get, like, I don't know, is trying to get us on that. I don't know. I don't know what the point of the comment is. But anyway, we'll move on to another story. So this is this is another story that I saw a little bit about this week from Democrats. They're trying to use it, of course, for more propaganda. They're saying that ICE detained a 5-year-old boy. And technically that is true, but I don't give a fuck. So the child's parents are here illegally. If the child doesn't have citizenship and doesn't have any legal guardians that'll take him, then yes, he gets held by the government. That's kind of how that works. But they ignore this part of it. We have this from the Post Millennial. Mother of 5-year-old Liam Ramos would not take custody of him after his father's arrest in Minnesota. So the mother was offered custody of the child and refused. So what is the government to do then? They hold him. They make sure that they're going to release him onto the streets? Like,
No, they should have never deported his father. Why they separate families? Rawr!
I think the child should be made comfortable, and they can go into another room and discuss.
And a discussion will ensue.
And a discussion will ensue, and they can make a decision from there.
I completely agree, Stork.
Keep them comfortable.
For those of you that don't know, that's a comment from, who was it, West Virginia?
Yeah, no,
I believe so,
Virginia,
yeah.
I think.
Or just Virginia?
Governor what was
Northam?
his name?
Northam or something?
Northam, yes.
So Governor Northam, he
Whatever.
literally, in a comment about abortion,
keep
he
them
said exactly that.
comfortable.
He said the baby will
Yeah.
be born, brought to another room, and a discussion will ensue. Basically saying whether or not they should keep, kill,
Yeah,
or get rid of the child.
He specifically
White
said
literally
the
murder.
baby will be made comfortable, and they would go into another room and have a discussion with the mother to see how they should proceed.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
But,
now, see, if they were saying, if they were actually saying we're going to discuss with the mother on if she wants to keep it or put it up for adoption, then you would actually just say that. But being intentionally vague on purpose, because we know what they're really doing.
I think it's interesting that the left hasn't decided whether or not they should abort this child, because that is an option, because the mother doesn't want this child and the father abandoned it. So really, I think
The only
real
option is
question
killing
is
it.
to ask the left. I mean, that's what we should be asking the left right now.
Look,
is
the
we
value
should
of
give
my
them an
life is
option.
completely dependent upon whether my parents put value to it.
I
We
think
need to force
that's the way it
Madonna to
works.
adopt the kid.
There you go. No, the reason I brought this story up though is because the narrative right now on the left, again with all the immigration customs enforcement stuff going on, the narrative right now as they set up all these different protests and riots for this situation too. They have the stuff going on for the guy that was shot. They have stuff going on for the woman that was shot. They also have protests for this little boy now. And the argument is that ICE is detaining a 5-year-old child, but that's not what happened. The father is here illegally. The mother refused to take him into her custody, so ICE holds the kid. And where's the kid gonna go? He's probably gonna go back with his father because the father has custody of his child. And again, I still love the argument, oh, you're separating families. I forget who it was that made the comment. I think it might have been Michael
Tom
Knowles,
Homan.
who I heard
Tom
it from
Homan.
first.
Tom Homan.
Was it Tom? Well, no, Tom Homan has also said it, but I think Michael Knowles, I may have heard it from Michael Knowles before Tom Homan. But if you commit a crime, you're going to get separated from your child. That's how that works. If I decide to shoplift something minor, I shoplift and I get detained and arrested, I'm going to be separated from my child. That's how that works.
Yeah, but the left, see, what the left is really trying to say is if you separate criminals at all from their children, it's a bad thing, which is why they let out people from jail all the time, constantly.
Funny you say that, Joey. I have another story that we can talk about in just a moment before we wrap things up here. But
They've made a lot more out of this story, though. We're missing a few things. They were trying to bait somebody out of a home. I mean, the left is they keep shifting the goalpost on what exactly the wrong action was with this
but
kid.
that's what they do.
I mean, it is, but I'm just saying there's a lot more to this story than just a simple the father straight up left his ass and the mother doesn't want him. So anyhow,
what Stork's talking about here, Pastor Surigo Amzukuya, however you fucking say that. I'm terrible with names. I could barely speak English. Who has been helping the couple, claimed that ICE agents were trying to give the child back to his mother, but neighbors told her not to come out of the house. Quote, ICE agents were trying to use the baby to get her to come out of her house, but the neighbors advised her not to do it. So,
Pastor, I'm not pressing 1 for English again. Fuck you, who has been helping
the pastor claimed the agents were using the child as bait in order to arrest the mother as well. Well, if the mother is here illegally, sorry, but anyway.
We'll use the discombobulator on her. We're not afraid, folks.
Not afraid.
We're going to discombobulate that little thing out of her.
Oh my goodness, Joey.
Wait, you're telling me it's already born? It's 5 years old? Well, we'll still discombobulate it.
If she is in fact the mother, I think that we have child abandonment that we could charge her with at this point.
If she won't come and claim her child.
No. If we take the child to her and she's like, nah, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
No, I don't want the child.
He's
No,
not mine.
niño, no.
Another question is why is the child not with her? Because it's very unusual for a child not to be with a mother, especially in a Hispanic situation.
There's probably a crack whore.
Well, we have reasons to deport her then, Joey.
Absolutely.
I'm not disagreeing with you. That's why they were telling her to not come outside, because they probably good reasons to deport her.
Well, so I want to know your guys' thoughts on this, because I don't know why they didn't use. I don't know why they didn't use this in this particular situation. Like, if they are gonna go arrest the woman, and that is the argument, then I don't know why they didn't use their new rule, which is warrantless home entry, which is a new ICE policy that was set up a few months ago.
Why don't we just discombobulate all of them and just pick them up when they're incapacitated?
Well, so I want to know your guys' thoughts on this, though. So the policy here, Immigration Customs Enforcement agents have been authorized to forcibly enter homes without a judge's warrant under a May 2025 ICE memo obtained by the Associated Press. The memo permits entry based on administrative warrants issued by immigration officials rather than actual judges.
I have questions about whether or not this is only available inside of that jurisdiction within like a range of the border. I have questions about that. I have questions about how this is applied. Are you aware the Supreme Court had a ruling about 1 or 2 weeks ago that said that they can enter a premises if they believe that somebody inside of the home needs emergency attention, essentially for like health purposes?
Yeah,
or
that's been the rule for most of the country for a long time.
Well, it's been the rule for most of the country for a while, but it got extended to federal officers, and it's saying every state essentially can do this now. This is not a law that's a state by state cases, and so for ICE to suddenly have this power, oh no. You mean they're violating the Fourth Amendment rights? They're violating the Fourth Amendment rights anyways.
That just feels like, I don't know.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Joey? Do you like, are you fine with this? Because this is it's things like this that are gonna have to happen if we do want mass deportation.
I just feel like they're just
they're laying the bricks down to fuck us down the road. Is that?
But they do that all the time. But as far as like seriously wanting to deport all these people, it's like I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, bro. It's like you got to just go in there and get it done, and stop worrying about the fucking optics.
Yeah,
stop. The media propaganda. Just put the fucking foot down. They're gone, and then what? The left's gonna fucking rally in these neighborhoods for people who aren't there. I just like you got to get it done. It just the faster it gets done, the better, because the more it gets memory hold by people. You just get the shit done. Just get the shit done. Stop this in between shit where we just let them protest outside. Like arrest them all, get the shit done. That's it.
I think in terms of the immigration stuff.
Let me think about it though. They'll have unimpressive news heads be like, "Oh, fascism, martial law." It's not as effective as visuals like the ones we've been talking about today.
I think Joey's right though, because the closer it gets to the election, the more that they're going to be able to be like, look, they're doing the thing.
They're doing the
And so I
thing.
think
Vote
we
against
should.
them.
I think we should be doing this now and then letting it get memory hold in the next 6 months.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is I think I'm gonna have to take the stance that
Disavow Gilbert.
I'm gonna take the Stork stance in terms of his stance on war in the Middle East. If we're gonna do it, then fucking do it. No half measures. All these half measures are why we're getting the Renee Good and the other story from Friday with Alexei whatever his name is, Alexei whatever. The reason we're getting stories like that is because we're doing half measures. If Donald Trump used the full weight of the federal government and the powers at his disposal, we would not only get mass deportations, but we would also see less of these kind of incidents. And then to what you guys were just saying, the quicker it would get memory hold, which is a good and bad thing, because if it does turn out we mass deport everyone, that is a good thing. And we don't want that memory hold, but we want the incidents like the ICE agent getting his finger bitten off or the ICE agent shooting a guy. We want those kind of things to get memory hold during election.
Speaking of memory hold, I think they've actually passed laws that say they can't use the diarrhea or vomiting sound on us in the United States. That's how old this technology is. It's so
I think you're
old
correct.
that they passed laws to say they can't use it.
We got laws that says you can't be in this country illegally, and then we just ignore those though. So fuck it.
Yeah, and then people say, but they're not criminals, Joey, even though they're still breaking a law.
Seriously, what Donald Trump has to do, and again, he won't fucking do it, even though it doesn't matter because you're going to lose the midterms anyway at this trajectory. Just do what needs to be done. Jail the governors, jail the mayor, just jail them all, jail the protesters, declare martial law, fix it, get rid of this. If there's ever a situation in which you need a far-reaching big government, right, it would be a temporary thing like martial law, hopefully, and you go in there and get the people who don't belong in the country out. I mean, they're invaders. What would we do if there was legitimately an armed invasion? Like you could see a fucking army marching. The Persians are coming towards us. What do we do then? We mobilize and we get rid of them. And now, like, if they're embedded in our country, it's appropriate, especially if retarded citizens are going to be defending them, and you call martial law, you get them out of there and just do it as soon as possible. That's the only way that you can get this done. You just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to stop with this fucking, we all go on Fox News in 60 Minutes and talk about how the left, look how bad the left is for obstructing this. Just fucking do it already. You're not going to have your cake and eat it too. Yes, the media is going to say bad things about you. Boo fucking who? Boo hoo. They're going to do it anyway. And it's going to be more effective when they have their images of their martyrs being sacrificed.
Joey, I want you to look up what a metic is. I think it would be I think you really should look up what a metic is, and I think it's a very I think that will kind of change your opinion on it if you read what the history of the metics are.
Oh,
change my opinion on what?
So wait.
So no. Just kind of blow your mind on where this is going from, like in terms of an argument.
There's really nothing that can blow my mind anymore. I'll be honest with you.
Well, so wait, hang on. I want to read Sean's comment.
To get blown.
Sean said that the reason that we're not doing the mass deportation, he said that's the reason why they haven't cracked down on the illegals. Letting the illegals stay creates the perceived necessity to violate the Fourth Amendment and have people actually ask for it to be violated. Then he goes on to say, jail the governors, cut all the funding and benefits for illegals, and let them feel how unwanted they are. Then when people riot, arrest them too. That's what should be happening, but it's not.
Yeah. Because they're afraid of optics. They're just afraid of optics, and they don't realize that their hesitation creates it. This is literally just like in sports when you play keep away. You try to play keep away to win the game, and then you make mistakes and you end up losing the game.
What if it's beyond that, Joey? What if it's not that it's the optics? What if the government realizes that there really is too many of us, and if they start rounding up crowds, that more people will come out and protest, and there will be too many of us to jail?
That's why they got to use martial law. I mean, listen. You got to do it from one region. It's not like you're going to do a mass operation. We're like in 8 states tonight. 8 states tonight. The U.S. Army goes into inner cities. It's like, dude, you don't announce this shit. You just do it. You do it in Minnesota, and then you choose a random day. You do it in New York. It might take multiple random days in these cities, but you got to do it, man. You got to do it, and you're gonna. I don't know if it needs to be ICE at this point. I think it should be martial law. You got to get the military in there because they're going to be shot at. And like we spoke about months ago, these ICE agents don't want to be shot at by fucking gang members.
Yeah, they don't want to be shot at by gang members. They don't want to be shot at by massive crowds that can organize against them. But unfortunately, this is a game that has a clock. And the longer that clock runs, the harder that it's going to be to get any of this done, which is why what you're saying is correct. They have to do it quickly. They have to do it hard, full force, without lube. I mean, it's got to happen.
They're playing not to lose. And when you play not to lose, you end up losing most of the time.
Yeah.
Just look at patterns just look at the patterns all throughout aspects of our life. That's why I like to use sports analogies so much. Because people don't realize, and people have a vested interest in sports. They just do. The bread and circuses people have been trained to. But they follow the same fucking patterns of nature as everything else. You play not to lose, you end up losing most of the time because you make too many mistakes to get yourself out of rhythm. You're not doing the right things. You're doing things you're not trained for. ICE is not trained to fucking maintain peaceful protests and riots. They're trained to go in there and get, deport illegals. And if they don't want to get shot at, then the United States military is trained for that. So we have anywhere from 15 to 30 million illegals in this country. If you want to deport them all, this is what needs to be done. It's the only answer. That's it. If you want to do it, that's how you have to do it. We're going to be careful about it and make them self-deport. It's like, dude, you got 10 months, man.
Right.
You got 10 months. How else are you supposed to do it? How else are you supposed to do it in 2 years? How else would you do it in 4 years? It's the only answer. You can't, like some of these things, like, oh, we're going to make them feel unwelcome. This is generational shit. You might feel unwelcomed in 15 years, but if you want to get them out right now, this is what you got to do. Oh, the rest of the world's going to be mad at us. Oh, okay. Like they're not already. Like people already don't call the United States the world police, and rightfully so half the fucking time. But we also subsidize half the countries in the world anyway with labor or fucking medical costs or these unfair trade agreements. So, I mean, yeah, we are the world police, but we basically give these countries reasons to even exist.
I had a thought experiment kind of thing, or an exercise that I came up with while I was in Korea on vacation. And the thought experiment is this, and it's actually probably better to bring it up here, honestly, than other places I talk. If you have a group of kids in a neighborhood, okay, and the biggest kid on the street says, I'm tired of all of you fighting. We're not going to fight anymore. Any of you who are going to fight, going to have to fight me first, kind of thing. And the rest of the kids, two of them really fucking hate each other. Like they absolutely hate each other. A couple of them kind of dislike the others. They want to fight, but they're kind of okay with not fighting. But they really don't like that they're being told what to do by this big kid either, kind of thing. And so we have a situation now where we have a group of kids in there. We have one really big, strong kid saying, don't fight. How do they handle that situation?
Tyler, it's your show. You talk for once.
I don't know how to answer that. I mean,
I had a thought experiment, but then I got divorced.
Yeah, and then I got divorced. I read that. I got distracted when you asked the question because I was reading that.
Yeah, but this kid's too strong for just a couple of them to team up and everything. Like this kid's too strong, too capable. Like it's just not going to happen with a few of them. You're going to need either everyone to gang up to get it done, or my work is done here. Or you're going to need either all of them to gang up, or it just isn't going to happen. How do you beat the big kid in that situation? I'm being serious with the question.
You fucking kneecap him.
No, I mean that is kind of how that goes. Like you've got to weaken him to a point.
Bring him down a peg.
Yeah, you've got to bring down the kid who says no fighting to the point that it doesn't take all of you to continue or to fight him and beat him. That's what you've got to do. You've got to slowly whittle away at him to where his opinion on you guys fighting anymore doesn't matter. And that's what I think the situation we're in right now, from the global community perspective, all of these different countries out there and everything. What Joey just said and everything of, Well, they're not going to like us if we send all the kids back. They already are trying to kneecap us right now. Why the fuck should we care about it?
Yeah.
Like we need to focus on being the big kid in the neighborhood again. We need to stop focusing on all of this. Well, this country doesn't like that we do this. And this country wants us to rework our free speech on some things. In this country, they've got a lot of people that we just need to take in because we're the benevolent people in the neighborhood. We're going to make sure that family has casseroles every Sunday, and no, fuck this. Fuck this. We're the big kid in the neighborhood. We need to start fucking acting like it again before we get poisoned like too far, before we get kneecapped too many times.
Our sergeant said poison him or use a crippling sneak attack.
That's what I think we're actually looking at here. I think we're looking at other countries.
No, see, I know how you cripple him. You immigrate a bunch of small children into his house and force him to pay for all of them.
Yeah.
And then he's too distracted having to work to pay for all of them, and you guys can go back to fighting.
No, I'm being genuine. Like, let's pretend that the big kid got like the new game console for Christmas kind of thing, and you really don't like that he got the new game console and you didn't. So how do you fix that? Well, you have to find ways to cost his family money.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's literally what we're looking at right now.
Or you kill roughly to 50 to 100,000 of their military age people using fentanyl every year. That's true. That's true.
Or you get them to abort a quarter of them.
That too.
A quarter to a third of them. So I don't know. This is how I'm viewing it, and that's why. He's back. We can't talk about him anymore.
I can't talk about Joey anymore.
I don't have my air conditioner on. I can basically hear everything that's going on from my headphones as
Oh, all right.
Well, I know Joey wants to start his show, but I did have one more story. Is that fine, Joey?
Well, yeah, sure.
Well, you said you wanted to start your show. I don't know. Anyway, so one more story, and I just wanted to use this story to kind of just use as a talking point. Florida prosecutor defends 2021 release of Ahmad Jihad Boje on insanity plea, and he has now been charged with killing 3 tourists.
I made a comment about this story on a particular thing that we all used to visit frequently, and that is when you make justice impossible, eventually people will seek justice on their own instead of trying to be fulfilled by the systems in society.
I have said that repeatedly. What scares me the most about the lack of a justice system is not that criminals will be allowed to go do as they please. It's that people will start taking justice for themselves, and justice looks different to some people. I could steal your pencil, and you can think justice is taking my arm, or something worse, you know? So, and that's why we have laws and we have set, punishments for these laws, because we've all agreed that's what it's going to be. But if you start letting people bring justice into their own hands, that justice could look way different person to person. But what I wanted to talk about for this story is, do we need to look into holding prosecutors and judges accountable for not giving a just punishment to some of these criminals that then go back out and recommit crimes or commit new crimes? Because I'm in the camp that absolutely, if a prosecutor makes the argument that this guy should be let out for whatever reason after committing a violent crime and then goes on to commit more violent crimes, there should be some sort of punishment to that prosecutor. The only concern I see with that is that it would force prosecutors to basically seek full punishment in every case just to save their own ass. That's the only backfiring I could see.
So every year we induct about 100,000 people into the U.S. military, and they serve on average for 4 years, which means every year we release into the wild 100,000 people who have been trained to kill people. And every year we start training 100,000 more people. And we think that not upholding justice is a good idea, considering that literally within 10 years, you'll have another million people capable of enacting justice in a way that they see fit. I don't think this system's going to last much longer if we keep, foregoing justice.
Well, and then, so a prosecutor in Florida, so this is the part that gets me, right? A prosecutor in Florida has defended the release of a man in 2021 who was recently charged with the killing of 3 men in the state. Ahmed Jihad Bojé, 29, was previously found not guilty by reason of insanity in a separate shooting. If it is ruled that someone is insane, they should not be released to the public. Am I crazy for that? For thinking that? Or
Dude, in
if
my
someone
opinion,
cannot
you should
be held
serving your sentence either in a prison or an insane asylum. Those are your 2 options.
If someone cannot be found guilty because they're too insane to be held responsible for firing a firearm at someone, you can't even trust them to hold a fucking fork on their own in public at that point. So lock them away.
I want to be clear. You are correct. Not everybody becomes a combat vet. This is true. However, everybody does learn how to fire a gun, and most of them learn how to do other things while they're in the military, regardless of what it is. So you're correct in the technical sense of not everybody who joins the military becomes a killer. Correct. But most of them have learned to fire a gun in their service.
I think Stork's point is they're definitely more capable than the average, citizen.
Yeah. Even if you were to take the most basic desk jockeying Air Force motherfucker, he has still fired a rifle at some point in his service. He has still learned how to fire a pistol in his service.
Disassemble a firearm, likely too.
Yeah, disassemble, clean, all of that stuff. Likely multiple variants of a firearm, not just one type. So while, yes, not all of them fire at people, the cook on a Navy ship does not fire and point a gun and fire it at a person. This is true. This is true. A lot of them have learned how to fire the guns, and some of them have learned how to fire the guns at people effectively. This is not a good recipe for we should let this guy out even though he killed 3 people because he's crazy.
Well, no, so it doesn't specify what happened. So what happened here is this guy shot someone else, was charged, and then found not guilty because of insanity. And then it goes on to say here, State Attorney Monique Worrell said that Bojé had been sentenced to a conditional release that required he get mental health treatment at an outpatient partner, which eventually went up in price, pricing him out, causing him to break the conditions of his release. She said that after mental health evaluators deemed he was no longer a danger, prosecutors and judges no longer had the authority to keep him confined. So that's insane to me that someone could go and shoot another person, claim they're insane, and then this was in 2021, so not even 5 years later, they're like, oh yeah, you're fine, you're good.
Florida has a lot of service members.
I don't. What's the point with that?
I don't know. How's that related to what it is I've said so far?
But is this guy a former soldier?
No, what I'm saying is the service members who have a strong sense of justice and have learned how to use firearms and do not feel that justice is being served.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If you keep doing this,
yeah,
you're going to end up in a situation where somebody feels that it is necessary to enact their form of justice.
I mean,
I don't agree with it, to be clear. I want the justice system to work. I want it because honestly, I don't think there's anything scarier than having a bunch of people who again have been trained to shoot a rifle or a pistol, going around trying to enact their own sense of what it is. I like military people. I like service members. I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. But sometimes I disagree with what their opinion of things are. And I don't think we should have them going around trying to enact their form of justice.
So this is some more quotes from the prosecutor. I researched into this case since the latest event has taken place, and what I found is that the individual was sentenced to a conditional release, and that that conditional release was that he would continue treatment with an outpatient community partner. My understanding is that the treatment was originally costing $7 a month, and that after a period of time, that $7 a month bill went up to $150 plus a month. And that the individual was no longer in compliance with this treatment because of inability to pay for that treatment. And now here we are with individuals who need mental health treatment and don't have access to that treatment. Bad things happen, and that's what we're dealing with. He should have never been released. He should have been put in an insane asylum if he's actually clinically insane. And I hope that is something that happens before the end of this Trump administration, because he's talked about bringing back the asylums. I genuinely hope he does, because we do need them. She added that I want to be very delicate. I want to be very delicate on how I talk about this, because we can never overlook the fact that 3 people are dead, 3 families are grieving, and that this is not an opportunity for political discussions. No, this is absolutely an opportunity for political discussion, because due to politics, the politics are what let this guy get out and commit these crimes. So absolutely, this is an opportunity for political discussion.
There are a lot of people who are going to say for justice to be served, you don't stop at him. Which again, this is why we need a justice system and a rule of law.
A rule of what?
A rule of law.
So Bourget, he has now in these newest charges, unrelated to the charge previously that he pleaded insanity to, he'll probably plead insane again, and then something else will happen. But he's been charged with fatally shooting Robert Louis Kraft, who was 70 years old, his brother Douglas Joseph Kraft, 68, and James John Puchon, 69, of Ohio. The 3 men had traveled to Florida for a car auction. Authorities said the 3 men were targeted when they were outside the Airbnb they were renting while waiting for a replacement rental vehicle. Bourget lives next to the rental property and has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. In the 2021 case, he had been charged with first-degree murder with a firearm and aggravated battery for allegedly shooting at a person in random vehicles in a parking lot. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity in that. What the absolute fuck?
The medics are not happy with their station in life and need to be thrown out of the country. And when the medics are allowed to do things like this, we're ending up with societal collapse. That's why we need to get rid of the medics.
Yeah, that's he is not guilty by reason of insanity, and that itself is fucking insane. So, yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add to this Joey, before we send everyone over to your show?
Not surprised.
Not surprised. More will happen.
More the same. I don't know what else to say. It's just more the same.
More the same.
Dude, I just fed you. Get out of here.
He's trying to tell you to go start your show, Joey.
I thought it was absolutely funny when Sean's Eye View or whatever had his cat on camera, and then suddenly your cat appeared out of nowhere. I was like, that's funny as fuck.
Destined.
Yeah. Well, I decided to pivot from what I was gonna do and just I don't know, dick around playing some games.
You're not doing Nightcap now?
Yeah, Nora's not ready, and quite frankly, I don't really feel like, I don't know. I still got to think about what I need. I might just call it Joey Cannoli's Wild Card Day, and it could just be whatever the fuck I feel like doing.
Call it Cannoli's Wild Ride.
Cannoli's Wild Ride. But the wild card is like the thing where it's like, well, it could be anything. The Joker card, the wild card. I don't know, because like I just like sometimes I'm like maybe I should, and sometimes I'm like I don't fucking know. So
ride the cannoli.
Yeah, just ride the wave. You know, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like doing.
Alrighty.
Well,
Well,
most likely be gaming, but most of the time. But I don't know. And maybe, but it leaves me open if there's something to talk about. Then we'll just do it. But if not, I
Go
don't
talk
fucking
more
care.
about how this guy got shot and he shouldn't have been or should have been. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's what I want to do is continue to talk about these endless subjects that never have an end. These circular things that will just keep going because nobody wants to do it. It needs to be done.
Oh,
Yes.
once you read about the medics, you'll know about how long this has been going in a circle.
I know how. Trust me, I'm well aware how long all this type of shit has been going on. It is not a recent thing. I'm aware of that. That's what makes it even more frustrating.
I love endless cycles, don't you guys?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Imagine if your girl is always on her period.
No, thank you. But
Endless cycles.
I think that is going to be the best part about doing the show on Sundays now, Joey. Is I'm not going to get burnt out as quickly because I was getting a little burnt out doing it every day. Not gonna lie.
Motherfucker, what did I warn you of when you first started doing this shit?
I was
You're
like, it's
"I'm
not
gonna
going to
do
happen,
news."
and then it happened.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna do news early, and I'm not. This is my sports, Joey. I'm not gonna get burnt out. I'm like, okay, you just gotta let people live and learn sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I got a little burnt out, especially when I started working and then trying to keep up with it too. That was a little too much.
I lately have realized how much it is that I'm doing, and I need to slow the fuck down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is such
So-
thing as too much.
I
that
too
is-
have realized this, which is why I'm pivoting more towards gaming as opposed to just beating myself to
Wow.
death with fucking talk
I
shows.
think I think maybe slower and trying to do one thing more in depth than what it is I do now, which is fucking just constantly fucking beating at every story is probably better.
Mhm.
And I think also limiting things. I can't tell you how happy I was to end shit on Friday in an hour or like an hour and 15 minutes as opposed to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's so much better. And so I like you said, I've talked to a few people. I think I'm going to be pulling back a little bit. I need to be looking for a job more anyways. And so, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. But hope everyone's doing well. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Argentina.
I'm making a joke.
You mean Venezuela?
Maybe.
Don't cry for me, Venezuela.
Someone's gonna cry for
Chile.
Venezuela.
For me,
But yeah.
for you, for us.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
anything else, Joey? What are you going to play then?
I might dick around with the DS emulator because I was playing Kingdom Hearts and then Chain of Memories, and I'm like, I kind of want to play the next one. But then I
Nice.
keep promising Resident Evil, going back to Resident Evil. So I'm just.
Did
a
you ever
liar.
finish the Final Fantasy 6?
6? No, I've made acknowledgement to that. I'll probably just restart it whenever I get to it. But I
Alright,
do have a
okay.
desire to play fucking 8 or 9 though.
I got to figure out how to convince Joey to play Destiny.
It's not gonna happen. I'm not. I have tried. This is not like Helldivers. I have built-in
Is it-
trauma over Destiny. Okay, I'm not. I don't want to
Isn't
go back to
Destiny
it.
shuttering?
Isn't it what?
Isn't Destiny 1 shuttering? Isn't it closing up?
No, I'm talking about Destiny 2.
Oh, okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure Destiny 1 is like.
I wouldn't doubt if
being,
they're
like,
shutting it
mothballed.
down. It's really old at this point.
Yeah, it's one of my friend's best or favorite games though. So or
Destiny
of my
1
best
is
friend's favorite games.
pretty amazing. I do like Destiny 1. I've been playing Destiny 2 recently on stream though, and it's been quite a bit of fun. They have the newest DLC. It's literally a Star Wars ripoff. I fucking love it.
Yeah, but Gilbert keeps coming in my chat and telling me why I'm right to not play it now, even though he's now addicted to playing it again. He's like, you know what?
Because he was watching me play it, and he's like, Tyler, you're gonna make me re-download it. I'm like, I'm not making you do nothing, dude.
Yeah, just be better, Gilbert. Just be better.
You know what it was, Joe? You know what got him? I got the
What?
fucking lightsaber from the newest quest, and he's like, that lightsaber is pretty cool. Which, don't get me wrong, the lightsaber is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
I'm
but
gonna go.
Yes, I do want to say though, next week I like to announce things. I'm doing my server next week. There's another UFC event, guys. There's another UFC pay-per-view, so be joyous of that on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel. But next week we're gonna do 3 episodes of the new Game of Thrones spinoff, starting at 8 or something probably, and then we'll dive right into the new episode when it airs at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm trying to announce things beforehand. God.
Sometimes it helps. But anyway, go start your show, Joey, guys. Go follow Joey at Joey Cannoli, only on Rumble exclusive. So go follow him. He's gonna go live right now. I'll send everybody over there in just a moment. But I think Matt Stork, would you like to say anything? Closing statements, comments. You can talk about how much you absolutely support the ICE shooting and whatever else you want to say.
That is not what I said. But no. You can find me at MadStork91 X. I'm gonna be doing probably something else here before too long, so we'll figure it out.
Hell yeah, looking forward to it. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you to Stork, Joey, Sean, everybody. You can head out now. I'll switch over. There we go. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is going to be the new time slot. So every Sunday, I may have guests, I may not have guests. Today I had 3 guests, which was awesome. But I'll have clips throughout the week from the show that we did today. I also have some older clips from the previous show that I did a little while back that I still need to post. And then besides that, look for game streams throughout the week. I've been playing a lot of Destiny because I recently got back into that. But Helldivers just put out a new update, so we got to check that out. We still need to continue Jump King Quest with Joey. I have a lot of games on the backlog to check out. We still need to finish Prey as well because I was closer to the end of that. And I will be playing South Park: The Stick of Truth this week. So follow me on X at Tyler Rittenauer. I do have at Tyler Today News as well, but that's kind of like a side account just so no one takes the name. I don't use it. So follow me at Tyler Rittenauer. That's where I post everything. And yeah, follow me there to find out when I'm going live and all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I had a ton of fun talking with everybody. It is good to be back and talk about news. And I will see all of you guys next Sunday talking about whatever happens during the week and all that good stuff. So you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go on a date with my girlfriend. So you guys have a good one. Later. Goodbye.